What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode on the live stream of Let's Get Nuts here on the Ben Thomas Show. Thanks for coming back, guys. We've had a couple of weeks off and almost didn't do a show this week until Jazzinc absolutely annihilated our wallets with all of the crazy Batman news that we got to talk about today. So we're going to go into Batman, we're going to go into Jazzinc stuff, we're going to talk about Blitzway Ghostbusters, InArt, all of the fun things, of course. So guys, stick around. If you like the video, hit the like button, smash the subscribe if you're new to the channel, and just by the way, we've got 2 channel member giveaways to give away today as well. So we're going to see 2 duck races today. So stick around for the whole show, and let's get nuts.
What are you doing? You're completely outnumbered here. Are you nuts? You want to get nuts? You want to get nuts? You want to get nuts?
You want to get nuts?
You want to get nuts? You want to get nuts? Come on, let's get nuts. Let's get nuts.
Let's get nuts.
Let's get nuts. Let's get nuts.
So today we are going to start with a panelist who I reached out to and who reached out back to me to say, hey, you came close to actually being in the same room with Jazzinc this week. And so I need you to save all of your great hot takes for Let's Get Nuts today. Of course, let's bring the man out here. We got Press X to continue. Good to see you, buddy. Thanks for being back, man.
Oh my goodness. My wallet, my emotions. You were there. You
100%.
saw it. It was wild. It was a quiet week, and then all of a sudden the floodgates opened. And now there's so much to talk about, so many things to get excited for. It's good to be back. Thank you so much for having me back on the show. I always enjoy getting nuts with all y'all. So thank you for having me.
Hell yeah, dude! Thank you, because you snapped me back to reality the other day. I was coming home from work, and like you guys were messaging in the Let's Get Nuts private chat, right? And I was like, I don't know, guys. Like, there's not a lot of news this week. I don't know if we should go live. And you're like, what? There was so much news today. You start like sending me links. I'm like, oh my god, that was today. Oh god. So yes. So thank you for bringing me back to the collecting reality. I appreciate it.
Absolutely. No, thank you for having me. Appreciate it.
Hell yeah. We got the plus in the zone today. The fact checker, the one who hosts Meso Menos. We've got Jose G. Hernandez, Mr. Jose Plus, back with us again, buddy. It's been a little while since we've had you on the show, man. How you doing?
I'm doing really good, man. I'm glad to be back. It's been a while. It's definitely been a while, man. Yeah. But I'm always watching. I'm always in the chat, man. I always want to support you, man. And you supported me the other day, and I want to be here for you. So I'm glad I can join and talk all this Jazzinc with you guys. I'm excited.
Heck yeah. And you actually shared a spoiler image with me today. So you told me that I was the first one who's got to see it. We're going to have it at the end of today's show, guys, for the next upcoming Shark Tank Meso Menos show. That'll be coming, it looks like in a couple weeks, right? I think in June.
That's correct.
For my recollection.
That's correct.
So in June, we're going to share that slide today for the very first time so you guys can see who those opponents are. And you will not be disappointed. They are some pretty awesome people. So I'm excited to share that with you guys at the end of the show today. So stick around. But dude, thank you for being here. As always, appreciate you being, getting nuts with us on a Sunday. And to the 18 to 25 people who are already here, we're going to shout all of you guys out here shortly. So thank you for also being here nice and early. Of course, I also reach out across the ocean occasionally and hope for the best. Sometimes I hear back, sometimes I do not. Today we did. Our British correspondent Pete is back in the house with us again. How are you, my friend? Good to see you, buddy.
Evening, everyone. Really good. Yeah, it's another one of those bank holiday weekends over here. So I look forward to these because it means I can do a Let's Get Nuts and not worry about having to get up early for work tomorrow. So unfortunately, we don't have another one until August. So I might be off for a while, but I'll try and sneak the odd one in. But yeah, it's good to be on tonight, mate.
Get your fill of Pete today while you can. We're gonna give him all the hot seat takes just to really, get all of it.
Yeah.
So,
yes,
dude, that's awesome. And I feel like every time you're back, you have a different background. So like every time you pop up now, I'm like, okay, what has he got back there? I see ET randomly.
Little plush ET. Yeah, he's been here a while. Yeah. That's awesome. All you see mainly is my cinema screen. But,
what's over your, I guess technically on the screen, your right shoulder? It almost looks like a device, like a bong or something. Is that like a,
I don't know what you're looking at.
Looks like a bong.
I'll have to work it out. I don't know.
Yeah, it's hard to say. I don't know what that is. Oh, it's a mast or something.
Oh, that's
I have no idea what
the
that is.
Lego Jaws, the orca.
Oh.
So Lego Jaws, I can confirm you can't smoke it, guys. Just so you
Nah,
know.
nah,
Okay,
nah,
just putting it out there.
I mean, not with that attitude. You gotta gotta want it.
Yeah.
Dude, hell yeah, man. Well, thank you for being back here as always, buddy. I love having you here as always. We were talking backstage. Pete's been easily one of our longest running guest panelists, I think, since Let's Get Nuts started. Today is the 71st episode of Let's Get Nuts, which is crazy. So quite the playlist to watch back now if you're just catching the show for the first time. And Pete helped me make this show what it is today, so I appreciate you, buddy, as always.
Yeah, a bit of CW love there.
Absolutely. No, it was a little bit cold in my apartment this morning. I'm not going to lie. I think probably because I'm in Canada. So I invited somebody else here today that helps warm up the stage. Let's feel the burn with Robert in the house. Once again, buddy. Good to see you.
Hello.
Hey,
How
are
are
you
you
guys?
Happy
Good,
Sunday,
man.
everyone. How are you doing?
Happy Sunday. Happy Sunday. I never really know where I'm going with those preambles on my panelists here. So you guys, it's off the cuff. So happy to have you back, Robert. As always, good to see you, man. Definitely excited to hear what you have to say a little bit about some of these Batman releases today too, because I know you're a big Batman
I'm excited.
fan as well.
This is my May the 4th. It's
my hell yeah, dude.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Y'all had y'all turn. Now it's my turn. Here we go. Until it's Halloween.
That is.
Yeah.
That's fair, man. That's fair. Awesome, guys. Let's get into it. Of course, I always want to start the show with some warm-ups, but we have so much figure news to talk about today. We're going to keep the warm-ups a little shorter than we normally do, but of course, today we're going to talk so much about Batman and literally just like DC and kind of all of our love for all of that. So I wanted to start off with something a little bit different. This popped up on this, on my Facebook this week, and it made me think about it, right? These are three pretty iconic actors in front of us. Here we got Jake Gyllenhaal, Jensen Ackles, and Alan Ritchson, who of course plays Reacher currently. He's a massive, massive presence. And I understand that there's a lot of people in this world who could potentially play a new James Gunn's DC Universe Batman. But I was curious, if you guys had to pick one of these three fan castings, who would it be for you? For me, calculus-wise, I like all three options, if I'm being honest. Jensen Ackles has played the voice of the Red Hood in the Batman animated series films, and so he's already touched Batman to a certain extent, but he's not a very big guy. He's a bit on the smaller side, and I still really very much see him as Dean Winchester from Supernatural. But I really see Alan Ritchson as Reacher. I think it would be hard for me to maybe take him out of that role in my mind. Jake Gyllenhaal is the only one that I feel a little bit disconnected from in terms of a Batman role. But of course, he was Mysterio in the Marvel Universe. So would you be able to separate him in your mind on that role as well? So I'd be curious. I think if I had to choose one of these three, which is the mission, I currently would still choose Alan Ritchson. I think he would be an ominous-looking Batman. I think he would be a great Playboy-looking Bruce Wayne. He's definitely got the jaw shape for it. And I feel I've seen him in less than some of these other actors. But what about you, Chris? If you had to choose one of these three, who would you choose? And if so, if you hate all these options, do you have a different pick in mind?
I hate all these no. Jake Gyllenhaal, I think he has the build for it. I think he could also bring a really great Bruce Wayne, but also he would bring the physicality, and we already know he looks good in a suit. As you mentioned, he pulled off Mysterio quite well. Ideally though, anybody they do as the next Batman, we get ideally almost complete unknown. Or someone that you just wouldn't think of as Batman. Think, almost like Michael Keaton, where he was known for comedy roles. They cast him as Batman. Of course, there was fan outrage at the time. But as history has shown, he became a great Batman. So I would want something like that. Someone out of left field. All of these three are great options. I think Jake would make a great Batman. But really, I want someone who you wouldn't think of as Batman. Someone who has to put on the costume in order to scare people. Totally agree.
And it's funny, while you were mentioning that too, I was also thinking about Soldier Boy from The Boys, right? Being Jensen Ackles as well. Like, he's already a superhero in a different way, like a super villain, maybe, I guess, somewhere in between. There's definitely some gray area there, but it might be, again, hard to separate him from his Soldier Boy persona as Batman. But that's acting, right? What do you think, Jose Plus? I know you're a big movie guy. Do you have any preferences here? Do you hate these options? Would there be somebody else you'd fan cast yourself? What are your thoughts, man?
These guys are all interesting choices. All of them are in their 40s, though. I believe. Yeah, I believe they're all in their 40s. I think Jensen is like almost 50, from what I know, and Jake Gyllenhaal's close to that. So I don't know. I guess it just depends on the route. You know what I mean? What are they going to go like a similar route with Affleck and go with like a hardened older Batman, or is it going to be a younger, Batman that's going to match more the David Cornsweet Superman?
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know. If I had to pick between these three, I mean, Alan Richmond or Richardson, him in terms of Reacher, I do like his physique. I do like the voice he can put for Batman. So I think that perhaps he might be the choice of the three. But personally, I would probably find someone else that's a little bit younger, maybe like in his 30s, maybe early 30s. Don't know. I can't think of an actor in particular right now in the moment, but someone around that age that would match Cornsweet.
True. Because I'm thinking also like if DC Universe, like the new one, is thinking Brave and the Bold, right? They originally had floated that title. Then I would think that the Batman would have to be a little bit on the older side, just in terms of the character himself. And if they ever want to introduce a Robin, I think, you can't have a Batman who's 30, because then what would be the age separation of Robin? Robin would have to be very much a kid. And I think as a kid, it would take. Oh, I mean, Hit Girl was a kid in a superhero-esque movie, and she absolutely kicked ass. No pun intended, but still, maybe hard to say. I just looked it up. David Cornsweet is 31, so he is quite a bit younger than all three of these gentlemen. So interesting thought there. But I agree also with Press X. I would love to see just an unknown. Like I think about even Chris Hemsworth as Thor, right? I mean, the man looks like Thor, but the only time I'd seen him really in any film up to that point had been Cabin in the Woods, where he played a young jockey dude, and Kirk's dad in the 2009 Star Trek film, who dies tragically at the beginning of that film. But other than that, like I didn't really know who Chris Hemsworth was or cared until I saw him as Thor, and then I'm like, that is Thor. Oh my god. And so that's kind of what I want to get out of my feeling for Batman 2. Pete, what do you think, buddy, in terms of the three that are up on the screen here? These are the ones that people just keep nailing as like, these are our choices. These are the ones we want. Are they good choices? Would you choose somebody else? What are your thoughts?
For me, I'd definitely go with Alan. I love Reacher. I love his kind of his persona in that. He doesn't talk unless he doesn't use many words. He's a man of action. His physique is fantastic for a massively beefed up Batman, and I'd like to see it if it did transpire that it was him, that was a very pared back, like the grey and the blue, not loads of armor pieces, like just the physiques, let it speak for itself kind of thing. And I think I would prefer a bigger, slightly older, because we just had Robert Pattinson. I know it's not the same universe and stuff, but we had the slim year one kind of Batman there. I'd like to see somebody who's been doing it for longer. As you say, I think he'd make a great Bruce Wayne. Man of very few words again, but I think that would work quite well, I think. So
and cold in his
So I would absolutely go for him. I think he'd be really good. And if he's in his 40s, he could definitely bang out 3 films or whatever the sort of long-term view is for this universe here. So yeah, definitely.
Yeah, I agree. We got Vita in the chat, one of our great panelists from last Let's Get Nuts. She was saying here, Brandon Skelnar, I have seen him posed up as a possibility as well, fan casted. I don't see it as much with him, if I'm being honest, but I don't think I've seen anything with him actually in it. So point me to a film where like you guys think would be a good representation or a good feel for this guy, and I will go watch it and maybe give you an update next week. I think Under the Cowl, either way, it doesn't really matter. Batman looks like Batman, right? But how would his Bruce Wayne persona be? I'd be curious. These other 3 actors that we have on the screen here, I already feel like I have a better idea of what I'd be able to predict from them based on it. So 1923.
1923.
I will check that out. Good shout out, Vita. Thank you. Robert, last but certainly not least, buddy, Batman fan over here. What do you think? Who are these three guys would you choose, or do you have another guy in mind that you would rather see? And I can't be the choice. I would love to be Batman, but thank you all out there saying that. But it's not possible.
No, for me, I agree with Pete. It has to be Alan. I mean, like, I started watching Reacher, and his physicality and everything he got going for him, I think it would be perfect. Like, ever since I saw, BBS, and I was like, Ben Affleck, the guy who played Daredevil is going to be Batman. So I didn't know how I feel about that. But then I saw him in the costume. He's like big and brooding and just like a monster. And that's the kind of thing I would like to see in a live action film. And we don't know how long he's been Batman in this universe. So they're doing the whole Brave and Bold where, what's his son's name? Damian? Right?
Damian Wayne, yep.
Yeah, Damian Wayne. So he could be doing this for a while, and it really shouldn't matter what age he is. I mean, surely Alan wants this role. I mean, I've seen like several posts of him saying like, I will do this for free. I just want to play Batman. Hey, I just want to be Batman. I don't care. Y'all don't even have to pay me. So
I didn't realize. I didn't realize Alan Ritchson was also, sorry to interrupt you, buddy, it was one of the voices of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
Yes.
In the Michael Bay films. I didn't realize that, and apparently he had a pretty terrible experience on that film. Which is kind of interesting to hear. But
it's the thing he reminds me of, in Titans, where Ian Glenn was playing the older Bruce Wayne Batman. That was really cool. And Alan, he's got that sort of, it almost looks like a younger Ian Glenn. And he's got that same sort of gruff kind of, I'd love to see it.
I would love to see him in. Oh, sorry.
No, you go ahead.
Oh no, I was gonna say I would love to see him. I would love to see an Arkham Asylum film because I think he has the physique for Arkham Asylum.
Yeah.
I was literally just saying that last night on Collecting Weekly. I would love to see a one season of just like literally Arkham Asylum, Batman being either stuck in there with them or them stuck in there with him, right? And just like the chaos that would ensue getting them all back in their cells. Like, I think that would be a great watch, dude. That's a great call. I'm excited to see the contrast in color and feel from James Gunn's Superman to A Dark Knight as well, right? Like, if I think about the Zack Snyder universe, both Superman and Batman were dark and brooding. But, like, to me, Batman should be the dark and brooding one. The Superman should be the hopeful, positive one, right? And so I think those types of kind of stark contrast in the comics really works. I'm excited to see what that dynamic looks like on screen. I'm happy with any of these three because I think all of them could nail the dark and brooding feel next in contrast, as I said, to hopeful and positive Superman, if that's what we get. So I'm freaking pretty excited. I'm not gonna lie. Yes, Hawk and Dove. That was I enjoyed Titans. Honestly, I had a great time with that, and I actually really liked that actor who played Robin, who transitioned into Nightwing as well. I thought he did a great job of that role. So that was a great show, honestly. I would recommend that one too. Guys, let's move on, but thanks for your thoughts on there. I'm feeling at least comically warmed up. When I say comically, this made me laugh. So Screen Rant put this poster up the other day. Godzilla is Marvel's new Ghost Rider in jaw-dropping crossover, Ghost Rider Zilla, which made me laugh so hard, dude, when I first read it. So can you imagine the terror that would ensue if this thing wheeled up to, sip your soul away from you? Godzilla, wild. But it did make me think of all the comic crossovers that have existed in the world, right? And we've got 1/6 Scale Man here with us, so let me know what your thoughts are here too, buddy, because I'd be curious. What would be a comic crossover that you guys would love to see? So that could either be, like, for example, a competing universe, maybe DC versus Marvel. It can be a crossover like you see here with Dark Claw, which is like a combination of Batman and Wolverine in the same character. There's quite a few that I think I would like to see. But Pete, I'll start maybe with you, buddy. Do you have any kind of historically famous crossovers that you really enjoyed, or ones that you would like to see potentially in the future? Keep in mind, with Marvel and DC new universes here, there's a good chance we could see crossover. Kevin Feige loves James Gunn. They're best buddies. It could definitely happen.
I think things like the ones that I've enjoyed are ones kind of from the comics that I read as a child. So anything like Transformers, GI Joe, anything with Transformers, really, that was really good. There was like an arc where those two crossed over, and you had to like make sure you got the episode of the and it was called Action Force here, but same thing. And then I've recently read a Transformers and Avengers crossover, which is really good. Obviously, all the Alien Predator stuff's good, and Alien versus Predator versus Batman versus Superman versus Judge Dredd, all of that stuff. I love it. I think it's all really good. So, I mean, I can't actually sort of really think of anything right this minute that I would, that I haven't already sort of seen or read. But I think it's always good. It's always.
Would you pick up this comic?
No, I don't
give it a
think
chance?
so. No, I don't think so. But I think it's always fun, even if it's if it's you take it out of sort of canon and you just make it like the Elseworlds stuff that DC did and things like that. So you have a completely alternate universe which fits in with all the movies these days.
Hell yeah.
I love all the stuff where you've got Batman is Frankenstein's monster, or he's a vampire, all that kind of thing. So I suppose that's a crossover because it's going into those kind of like classic horror.
Elseworlds kind of.
Yeah, love the Elseworlds. Yeah, brilliant. And Marvel did some stuff like the 1602. That really love all that stuff. So probably like the historical things. So maybe take some of these characters back into like 300-400 years ago and that kind of thing. That's my sort of bag. So. Yeah,
100%. We got some good ones in the chat popping up here too. Batman and Terminator would be interesting, definitely.
He fought the aliens as well.
Wolverine. Yeah. Predator Wolverine, that could be pretty crazy. 160 Man says the current Sonic and Justice League crossover is pretty solid right now. Wow. I've heard that actually. And our buddy Dean the Dream Martin, he loves Sonic, so curious if he's getting into that himself.
He's got all the Sonics.
Yeah, absolutely. Press X, what about you, buddy? Do you have any wishful crossovers? Would you love to see any characters pitted against each other in live action? And would you give Ghost Rider Zilla a chance?
Ghost Rider Zilla depends on how many drinks I've had. I think it would be a fun time. I really do think it would be a fun time if someone offered me that, and I would not turn it down. I'd be like, you know what? Sure, why not? I always said I'd try it once. Let's do it. But in terms of a crossover, or who I would like to see pitted against each other, I think I mentioned this last week. I would like to see Grogu pitted up against Stitch. So either to see them team up or to see them like fighting against each other in some way, shape, or form in the Star Wars galaxy, in the Star Wars universe. I think that would just be chaos on top of chaos, and sign me up. I'd be there.
We're gonna see the sales pitted against each other here pretty soon, right? The Hot Toys Stitch versus the Hot Toys New Grogu, and we'll see which one wins, maybe on the top sellers list.
Just buy both, and you can put them both in the same bag.
Buy both. That's right. We need a this or that video for Grogu and Stitch, maybe. Love to see it. What about you, Jose Plus? Any movie characters you'd love to see pitted against each other here? Lael also mentioned Battle Angel. Crossed over with Blade, that could be cool.
That'd be great.
Yeah, I mean, it's interesting. I was thinking about like Morbius and Blade and that kind of universe, and them crossing over. All these like vampire hunters, like hunting vampires. That's kind of what I was thinking. I don't know why that thought came to mind. But the things growing up that I remember the most were these crossovers with DC and Marvel. That's one of the things that I remember the most. And like I remember, there was the Chris Claremont comic where like Darkseid, like he appears and like he brings back the Phoenix, and it's this whole thing, man. I just remember looking at that image, and I thought it was really, really cool just seeing these characters interact. So that's kind of where I was thinking about. That's kind of what I remember the most. But yeah, man, these things. Dark Claw is one of the things I remember growing up as well. So yeah, man, a lot of cool crossovers. Can't really think of anything else other than the vampires. I don't know why I got vampires in my brain. Feel the burn.
Interesting.
Yeah, I know you know about that vampire stuff, right?
What? Kind of. I mean, to be specific, you gotta be specific. Sinners. Yeah, sure, but I don't know. You gotta be.
That would be a cool crossover if you think about it. If you brought in the Sinners universe and started bringing out like these cool like the Van Helsings or things like that. To kind of interact with these characters, that'd be really, really cool.
Yeah,
true. Because even like would Van Helsing and Blade work together, or would they work against each other? I would think
Yeah,
they
that's
would
the
work
thing.
together,
Yeah.
technically, right? But Blade is also still a vampire, so would he feel like he has to do something with that? Invincible and Spider-Man, Brick says that's a great one, 100%. Press X crossover with Kite Man.
Yes, we have to make that happen. I will say yes to that.
100%.
1,000 times yes.
Star Wars versus Star Trek. Oh man, we're gonna lose fans if I tell you guys what I want to go for there.
Did you ever read the Doctor Who versus Star Trek? The Doctor Who Star Trek ones.
Ooh.
They were fun.
Right?
Yeah.
Crazy.
Star Wars versus Star Trek. Would that just be two people fighting at a convention?
It could be. Yeah.
Just two fans fighting at a convention. I'd pay to see that too.
Yeah.
Oh my god. I'm sure it's happened, honestly. Rogue One photography, Alien versus Predator would be good. Oh wait, hold on. You know what? Oh, I'm still I'm anticipating we might see another Alien versus
Oh, it's
Predator
happening again
though.
Oh yeah.
You think so? I think it's
Oh
gonna
yeah.
happen too.
It's
I'm
happening.
excited. I think I'm more excited for it going forward because it was a little kitschy back in the day, but I think the way that the new universes are setting those characters up, I think could be pretty freaking cool.
Well, it looks like
Punisher.
it looks like Elle Fanning's character in the trailer for the new Predator. She is an android.
An android.
So
yeah.
yeah.
It looks like
from
they're really
the
setting
from
that
the
up, that
Wesleyan
universe.
or whatever. Yeah.
100%,
So
dude.
she's Mm-hmm.
Field of Burn, did you have any that you thought of before we move on, good sir? Anything that sticks out to you?
When I watch horror movies, like one of my favorite genres is like witches. I watch anything with witches or magic users. Anytime I play a video game, I like to use magic users. So I would like to see a DC and Marvel crossover with all like the magic users or the supernatural heroes just coming together to fight like a greater big threat, kind of like a not Secret Wars, but what's the other one, where the worlds collide or something like that on Marvel. I forgot what
Marvel. What the heck
is it
called?
Secret Wars?
I know, not Secret Wars. I think it's what the hell is it called?
But anyways, yeah,
it's not
Yeah.
Crisis, right? Because Crisis is DC. So
right.
DC.
But I mean, like these two worlds has to, combine together to fight like an evil supernatural force to threaten both their worlds. So I would like to see that, just like all the magic users and supernatural users. I think that would be very interesting because almost every comic I read has to do with something with magic or something like that. So yeah, I think that'd be
Cool, man. Very, very cool. Guys, thanks for your engagement in the chat. Definitely appreciate it. And I definitely feel warmed up. I do think we should get into figure news. And then we're going to shout out some members. And then I want to also do our first Duck Race channel giveaway. We've got two $25 gift cards for Sideshow collectibles that we're giving away today to the channel members. You have a 1 in 39 chance of winning. As of right now, the more members we get, the more you will be added to those future giveaways. So stay tuned for that. The one thing that I heard briefly the other day, and I just wanted to mention it very quickly, we will talk Jazzinc news a little bit later in the show with regards to figures. But one thing that Jazz, or Yost from Jazzinc, kind of mentioned in passing with Press X and Lael the other day on an awesome show that they put on with those guys, was that Jack Nicholson sounds like he's not likely to give his likeness rights out anymore. It sounds like he's done. Now, of course, that's the information that Yost has now received. Sometimes it seems like Hot Toys gets different news than Yost, right? Like, it doesn't necessarily mean that is absolute gospel. But I was curious in the collecting community. As soon as I heard that, I was like, man, I'm going to hang on to my DX08 like I'm clutching my pearls, because, like, the value of that figure, if that is honestly the case going forward, is going to go crazy. The Mars Toys version was no slouch either. But I know a lot of us were kind of holding out hope that we would see a 2.0 of Jack's Joker, especially after we got that 2.0 Batman, right? So Press X, was that something that like hit you when you were there live with Yost the other day, or were you kind of like, oh, that's kind of expected now, Jack's older, maybe we didn't really think that was going to be the case? For me, it was shocking to hear, more confirmed than anything. But what are your thoughts?
It was really nice to get the confirmation that that was the case. So for many months now, for many years now, people have been saying, yes, another Nicholson Joker, surely it's coming. But the longer time went on, the less likely it seemed. And for someone like Yost to come along and say, hey, we've looked into it and here's the current situation, it seemed pretty definitive to me. It was still a little shocking because it's like, oh, okay, no, it's, dashed, all hopes dashed when it comes to a Nicholson in the near future. Now, that's not to say that, things won't change in, 5, 6, 7, a decade from now. But in the near term, another Nicholson Joker, unfortunately, I don't see it happening. So if Mars does another one, great. If you can find one on the aftermarket at a decent price, great. I've got 4 Nicholson Jokers ish in different, iterations of Nicholson Joker. But yeah, I would love to have had another, Hot Toys Nicholson Joker, and it may happen, but it seems pretty definitive that at this point, no new Nicholson Jokers are coming.
Hang on to those Nicholson Jokers in the Hot Toys apocalypse. They are going to be currency. Don't you worry about it. Okay? You will be able to trade those like bottle caps. We got 160 Helmet says, I'm here to announce that Jack Nicholson is being replaced by the Ben Thomas show as the new Joker. You'll love to see it. I would be Joker. I would love for that. What about you, Jose? Was that news that stood out to you? I again, for me, I've been kind of honestly anticipating. I thought it was going to be like within a week of the announcement of the 2.0 89 Batman that we heard, a new Joker was coming, and maybe not so much now. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, it definitely stood out. It's definitely one of the big things that people were talking about after the stream. Yeah, it's unfortunate. I don't have this one. I always thought it was really expensive. I thought there would be a 2.0 coming, especially in this era of 2.0s. I figured, I'm like, it's going to happen eventually. I'll just wait it out. And unfortunately, I guess now it's the worst time now to try to look for one, because people are probably going to increase the prices on those eBay listings. They're going to go ahead and definitely try to cash out on this, especially, with the news that they may not make another one, at least not anytime soon. Marco did bring that up on the stream you guys were doing it, and you mentioned it now, that maybe the intel that Yost is receiving is perhaps different than what Hot Toys may have, and perhaps or perhaps it might be a situation that it maybe they want it exclusively to Hot Toys and not to him, and maybe that's why they're kind of beating around the bush or giving him different information. I don't know. I have no idea what's happening there. I'm trying to think if there's an instance where he might have said something and then Hot Toys went ahead and did it. I was trying to think back to that conversation you guys were talking about last night specifically, because I was like, I wonder if there's been a situation where that happened specifically, and then Hot Toys boom went and did it. Can't think of it right now. I don't know if the chat can remember, but I think it's possible. I think it's possible that Hot Toys may still have something up their sleeve and they may still do it. But it's rather unfortunate that if they don't do it, we're gonna have to try to pay these reseller prices for this one if you don't have it. So yeah, Ben, hold on tight to that one for sure.
Yeah. Oh, well, and like I get the sense that Yost is a pretty smart guy. I feel like he's like he knows his stuff. He knows what the collecting community wants. I think if he got wind of that, it's probably pretty serious information. I don't think it would have been able to be easily misconstrued. But the speculation in the past has also been that if Hot Toys has had these licenses before, sometimes they'll pump out a 2.0 before their license then potentially expires, right? So maybe there's still that chance of a 2.0 through Hot Toys because of that license coming to an end that they already had, versus new licenses now being given out, right? Maybe there won't be any new licenses given, but maybe we'll see one more before that license expires. That's a possibility. I don't know how long the terms of the contracts are or anything like that. Total speculation. But to me, there's still maybe that smidge of hope, because Robert, I would say like this DX08 in my collection is easily still one of the best figures that I have, considering its age. The likeness to Jack is insane. The paint apps are great. The accessories were amazing. Like, it's a great figure. What was your thoughts on that? Was that something that you felt worried about? I saw that Jim the collector said, I think it was Jim here. Yeah, no Jack Torrance figure, because I know you're a horror collector as well, right? So does that take a Jack off the table from Shining? What are your thoughts?
I mean, I don't know. Like, I've been looking for a Hot Toys Joker for the longest time, and the reason I didn't get one is just because, like Jose, the pricing is just outrageous. So I mean, like the Jack Torrance, I mean, third parties have done pretty decent jobs, like the Present Toys one. I've been kind of eyeing that one because, I mean, I think Sideshow said they were going to make one, but I haven't heard any news about it. But as far as the Joker is concerned, like, as far as these prices that people are putting up on eBay and stuff, I might as well get a damn custom. I mean,
yeah, true.
I mean, I could get rooted hair if I wanted. You know, I could probably find the clothes if I wanted to, because, you know, people want to sell out every little bit, trying to make some sort of money off of it. So I could probably kit bash this together if I can find the right parts. But yeah, it is kind of sucks that, you know, he's not giving away his license. Although I'm not hoping that he goes anytime soon, but I'm like, doesn't his what do you call it, like, rights go to his family after he's gone? So maybe his family could be like, yeah, now that he's gone, go ahead and make those figures, go ahead and get that merchandise out, you know what I mean? So
definitely possible.
I don't know.
Leal says here, Yost advised behind scenes that Nicholson pulled his likeness due to a court issue with a current undisclosed company that used his likeness for advertisements and never reached an agreement. And so as a result, he suspended all use with that company because of this. And that would suck, right? Especially in today's day and age. It's so easy to have AI generated likeness even of a person, let alone using them for nefarious reasons or unauthorized reasons. And so yeah, like, I think at the end of the day, I mean, the man is absolutely within his right to be like, absolutely not, shut down, like, I am not doing it anymore. And he's at the age now where I don't think he probably needs the money anymore either, right? Like, some of these younger up and coming actors, you know, I had this experience recently at Comic-Con. You know, I chose to go and see Christopher Lloyd, and you know, of course, because he's getting older, I may have fewer and fewer opportunities to get to meet, you know, the Doc Brown, Christopher Lloyd, you know, Krug, all of my favorite roles of his, right? I wanted to shake his hand. But I love Charlie Cox, but Charlie Cox, you know, knock on wood, he's a younger guy, he's a lot cheaper to meet. I was like, I can meet Charlie Cox in the future. I don't need to meet him right now. Because again, you know, they're getting to that age where they're more expensive progressively, the older they get and the more in demand that they are, right? And Jack Nicholson has been an in-demand actor for a very, very long time. He's probably just done with it at this point, and especially if people are using his likeness without his permission, that's fucked up. What do you think, Pete? Last before we move on, buddy. Anything?
Yeah, you didn't leave much meat on the bone for me there, Ben. Sorry about that, bud. That's all right. I was sort of going on the lines of what you said about the fact that it could just be that Hot Toys signed a very long license on that, for, you know, and it still exists. And obviously, if there is an existing contract, he can't get out of it just because he's fed up with everybody else that's kind of taken the piss out of him. So I think, I mean, for me, it's not the end of the world. I didn't, as much as I love Batman 89, I don't know, I prefer 92. Batman Returns is my favourite Batman film. So I did have a DX09 back in the day, but I never went for the Nicholson. I never kind of pursued one. So I think I've just got a thing against Jokers, haven't I? I never owned one. Never owned one. Never wanted to. Yeah. But obviously the Batman stuff we're going to talk about later on is right up my alley. But I think it's a shame. But then I think, you know, to him, he probably signed that and didn't really give a shit what was going on. You know, I love the actors when they're actually excited to see they've got a figure and you see them like pose with them and stuff like that. He probably didn't give a shit. He probably never even wanted one of these. So
you're not wrong.
Yeah.
Still to this day, seeing that footage of Harrison Ford tear his Hot Toys apart was heartbreaking. So we got another special guest in the house with us, joining us all the way from the X-Men universe. We got X-Men Supreme, Mr. Dave, in the house once again. How are you, buddy? Good to see you, buddy.
Yo,
buddy.
Man, y'all, I was so ready. I had stuff done early. I was doing good, and my support team let me down, man.
Hate to see it.
But it's good to be here. I didn't miss too much. I see Jack. Oh, by the way, no one called it out. Ben, you said jack off.
Wow, it wouldn't be a nuts show without it. You hate to see it. So there you go. Thanks for being here, buddy. As always. Before we move on, did you have any takes on Jack here? Just sounding like no more likeness rights. Shoots potential figures in the foot, potentially, at least for a while.
I've been sitting here waiting because I saw a couple of good opportunities to get this one, and I was like, well, we're in the era of 2 and 3.0s out the friggin' butt, so I'll wait. But now, listening to all of these confirmations, I'm just gonna buy them whenever I see them next. I'm just gonna get them. I want them. I've been wanting them for a long time, and I have everything else that I want from that universe. But I don't have Jack, and I need him.
Ben, you're muted.
Oh, you're muted, Ben.
Yeah, I don't even know how I muted myself. I must have done that inadvertent. I apologize, guys. We have over 50 people watching live. Thank you so much for getting nuts with us today on a Sunday. I do want to move on because we got lots of figure news to talk about, but I do want to do our channel member giveaway first. I was able to put a QR code up on the screen here, guys, so if you are not a channel member and you are interested in becoming one, $1.99 gets you in the channel membership. You get all of the cool nut badges beside your name as you go along, as well, of course, as all of our channel emojis that have been created by the lovely Dean the Dream Martin. But there, I will put that back up once again, just for the sake of it here. In terms of X-Men Supreme being a channel member for 13 whole months with a woo! Love to see it, buddy. So guys, let's, without further ado here, and I'll put that QR code up again later in the stream if you do want to become a channel member. I want to do our duck race. First duck race of the day. We're going to give away a $25 gift card to our channel members. Right now we have 39 channel members, so you have a 1 in 39 chance of winning. This is for channel members only. Again, we are going to continue to do more channel membership giveaways. The more members we have, the more money the channel makes, the more money I can put back towards you guys. That's where all that money goes at this point. So guys, without further ado, let's start up a duck race here, and I went to the trouble here earlier of getting it all queued up so you guys didn't have to watch me type out 40 names. So let's see here. That would have been wild. And we're going to do it again. This is one of two. We're going to do a second duck race at the end. So let's say a mark. Let's get started here. 1, 2, 3. Let's go. Who we got?
Can we put money on this, or is it too late?
Yeah, you can put money on it.
Oh, look, I'm not doing too bad up the top there.
I was gonna say I got my money on this.
I see you.
Peter Cass.
Who is this Peter Cass?
Big
Am I saying
ribs.
that right? Peter Cass.
Big ribs there.
Yeah.
I see big ribs.
And I always feel like if you're winning in the beginning, you're almost screwed.
No.
Yeah, no, I'm
Right?
Oh, yeah.
gone. Yeah. Oh, collecting weekly.
Collecting weeklies coming up. Who do I,
You don't want
give
any
it to
premature
if they win?
speculation.
Oh,
Yeah.
Lord.
Got 21 seconds. If it's my mom, she's already said that we can give it away again. Rachel Miller.
Well, there she is.
Here, so,
Yeah.
yeah.
I like the guy in the dinosaur suit.
Yeah, right. Daniel has seen, no doubt.
Oh,
bigger
class.
the bubble's
Yeah.
coming up.
5,
Bigger
Here
in
they
the
come.
bubble.
It's coming out.
3,
It's coming out.
2.
Bigger in the
Oh.
bubble.
Oh, he better not.
Figure in the bubble gets it. Hey.
He ain't gonna use it.
All
You don't
right.
appreciate nothing.
Absolutely. There you go. Figure in the bubble. You win the first giveaway of the day, good sir. Again, we have 2 giveaways for today. So, figure in a bubble. Please make sure you reach out to me here on Instagram or Facebook, and we will get that over to you. Okay, good sir. Guys, of course, we again mentioned there we have 50 people watching, so I think it is that time of the show that we quickly say hello to everybody, and then we will get into the news. Let's go.
Is that everyone? I can want it more.
Nuts!
Assemble.
Nuts!
Nuts! You guys should have. By the way, you should have been here for me when I was recording that. I had too loud of nuts. I had too quiet of nuts. But like anybody of my neighbors would have just heard me randomly screaming nuts in the middle of the night at like 2 a.m. while I recorded that.
It still makes me laugh every time, Ben.
Yeah, it's too loud. It's still not quite there. I was like, it's fine. We're gonna leave it. Figure Poser in the house. Buddy, good to see you here. We got Tim Harvey with us as always. Good to see you here, my friend. Happy Memorial Day weekend here in the U.S. Absolutely, Mr. King Dingaling. It would not be a stream without you. Good to see you here, buddy, as always. Ryan Smith, hey, buddy, good to see you as well. Vita, a.k.a. Her Geeky Side. Make sure you follow Her Geeky Side on Instagram. She's
Hello,
awesome,
Britt there.
of course.
Yep.
Absolutely. We got Seaver Bro. Opinion on DX18 Darth Maul. I have the DX18 Darth Maul. I absolutely love that figure. I think that the solo, like the robotic legs on it, are super ominous, and having him in like a sitting pose with his legs peeking out, it's wild. I totally would recommend it. Great figure. Benjamin E. Green here with us as well. Greetings and happy Sunday to all. Hawk, you'll love to see it there, of course. Figurecraft in the house. Mr. Philly. Yo, happy Sunday, my fellow collectors. Let's get nutty. Good to see you, buddy. We got Louise Pop Culture Relics here as well. Good to see you here, buddy, as always. We got the birthday boy in the house. Happy birthday to Yomo. I saw that today on Lael's stream.
Happy birthday.
Happy birthday.
Collectors
Yes.
International. Right? So, yeah, happy birthday to you.
Oh boy,
surprised.
finally 21.
I'm surprised he didn't win the giveaway. He wins all of them, so.
Right? No doubt,
Yeah.
no doubt. Actually, that face is also strategically posed over X-Men Supreme. Look at that. That's almost like perfect.
Oh.
Oh, wow.
12-inch Moose stream in the house. Hello, community of collectors. Happy Memorial Day. Huge owner of Jazzinc products. I own too many to mention, but I still haven't pre-ordered anything announced on Friday. $1,400 plus for Penguin. Yeah, we're going to talk about the pricing for sure with regards to that.
Yikes on bikes.
Because it was a lot, but I do think there's some value there to be had. So we'll chat about that, of course. We got Mr. Jim Collector, of course, the partner of Vita,
Yo.
aka Her Geeky
Hey,
Side.
Jim.
Good evening, everyone. Good to see you here, Mr. Jim. Always happy to have you here, my friend. 1/6 scale man, of course. Ben Richards, can I have your autograph? If you're lucky, I will send you one. Yes, we've been friends a long time now, buddy. We need to send each other an autograph, and I'd be happy with that. We got Mr. Jose Plus here in the panel and on the chat, of course, as well. Field Burn, same thing in the channel and in the chat as well. Of course, let's see here. I want to make sure we don't miss anybody. We got Gio, the movie canon, with us. Hello, collectors.
Gio!
Around, wanted to say hello. Good to see you here,
Gio.
buddy. Of course. Press X to continue here in the channel and in the panel. Love to see it. Of course, Mr. Brick Artemis in the channel. What's up, fellow
Hey.
nerds? And
Hey,
I don't want to give
Robert.
anything away. I don't want to give anything away, but Brick is working on something. He's working on something. So we'll announce that. We'll announce that down the road. But
Working on that wall.
he's got something up
Oh.
his sleeve, something exciting. I'm excited to share with you guys. When he
Roberto.
tells me I'm allowed to share it, I will officially share it. So we got Mr.
That
Mark
brick
P in
wall.
the chat. What's good, everyone? The brick wall. That's right. Let's see here. Rogue One Photography, of course, in the chat with us. Hello, panel and
Hey,
chat.
Phil.
Good to see you, my friend. Good to see you,
Hey,
buddy.
buddy.
Keep working on that photography, man, too. It's amazing art that you have there. Let's see. Do we have Figures and Fandom says, "Sup, dudes, listening while I mow the lawn. Don't watch your fingers, buddy. Just be careful." But always good to see Steve here with us. Make sure you follow
Okay.
Figures and Fandom. Also, I know Steve does have a Star Wars specific channel now, and I'm blanking on the name of it, and I apologize. If you guys have the name of it, please share it in the chat.
It's
and I'll
Figures
highlight
and
that as
Force.
well. Is it
Force and Fandom.
Force and Fandom? I don't know.
I
can't
don't know.
remember. I can't remember. But I watched this first episode, and it was really, really good. So, Steve, shout out to Steve there, as always. Benjamin E. Green, just in case. I think I got you, but just in case, buddy, want to make sure we shout you out. I think that's almost everybody, guys. And thanks for bearing with me while I give everybody the love, of course. 1 Adam 12 here. He says, not to be macabre, but his kids will cash in once he passes, and there will be a ton of Nicholson.
Agreed.
You might not be
Oh,
wrong,
yeah.
buddy.
Agreed.
Hate to
Totally.
say it, right?
Totally.
Yeah. L Walker in the chat. Good to see you, buddy. As always, live long and prosper to you. We got JB_Velo in the chat. Mars Toys. Yeah, the Mars Toys one is no slouch, honestly. We got Adrian Underwood here with us as well. Hey, everyone. Good to see you, buddy. I think that's everybody, guys. Let me double check one more time. Yomo, we got you. Let me double check. I think that is everybody. Blur Dad Life, almost missed you, buddy. Hey, everyone. Good to see you here, as always. That's everybody. If I missed you, please shout us out. Steve, put in the name of your other show, Forcecast. There we go. It is Forcecast. Go subscribe to Forcecast after Let's Get Nuts today. Let's move on here. I want to be quick on this one, so I may jump around a little bit here. InArt collectibles, just for the InArt news of the week. And I feel like, honestly, lately InArt's barely been in the news. I don't know if you guys feel that way too. I really feel like they're slipping a little bit in terms of the hearts and minds of collectors. Their stuff is fantastic. I just opened up my Paul Atreides the other day. I put an unboxing on the channel and had a great experience for the most part. There was some QC challenges with that figure that I shared in the video, so if you missed it, definitely go take a watch. But it's still a beautiful figure, and the head sculpt is amazing. The rooting hair, amazing. And this, Thorin looks fantastic from Lord of the Rings. I'm just so far removed from Lord of the Rings at this point. I haven't bought any of the other figures, so for me, this one feels like it makes a little bit less sense. The other thing is that I've been waiting for some of the other Fellowship to come before Thorin. He wouldn't have been kind of top of my list of the Fellowship. I'm surprised they haven't gone a little harder to try to complete that first.
Ben, watch your mouth out. It's Hobbit. The Hobbit.
Yeah.
He's the Hobbit.
Yeah, I was waiting. I was waiting to correct you.
No. Then I'm totally out to lunch. I was thinking, why was I thinking Fellowship?
Because you want the Fellowship. You want
because I want the Fellowship, right? That's what I've been waiting for.
We all
You're not wrong. So
Fellowship. Why are you doing the Hobbit?
You're not wrong.
Yeah.
This is for you, Pete. This is for you.
Okay, people, you have to tell me these things, all right? I've been frozen for 30 years, okay? Throw me a frickin' bone here. I'm the boss. Need the info. Okay, no problem.
No
Love
problem. Pete, since you're the expert, what are your thoughts on Thorin here?
I used to own the Asmus one, which wasn't bad. But the problem being is that there's not. I mean, Asmus did release. They released Gandalf from The Hobbit, and they released the young Bilbo. But really, who are you gonna pose him up with? Because obviously the Fellowship, there's lots of different options that you could have there, but you obviously have got figures to put them with, whether you go for the full Fellowship or not. I just felt, sort of in my collection, that he just didn't really fit in. I quite liked him. They did quite a decent job. Obviously, they didn't do the same level of. It had rooted hair, but I think the beard was sculpted. Clothing was good. Weapons were great. I just don't think it'll be a big seller. As good as it looks, I think the sort of the combination of the fact that he's very likely to be the only Hobbit figure, and also I'm not a personally massive fan of the Hobbit movies. I think they were a massive step down from Fellowship, the Lord of the Rings, and I think the big problem with that is that they would, they just stretched it out far too thinly, because the book's only like 150 pages, and it was all because New Line just wanted. I think Peter Jackson was going to do 2 movies. They said no, we want 3. So it all sort of piggybacked off the money they made and the success from Lord of the Rings, and I think they ruined it for that. There's that great 4-hour recut that CW was sort of championing for a while. I'm not sure if you can still get hold of it, but that's fantastic because it shortens it down,
condensed it.
Yeah, and it follows the actual plot and sequencing of the book as well. So that's really good. But I don't have any interest in this at all, just because for the reasons I just given. But I'm sure it'll look great. But yeah.
I'm very excited to see what it looks like. I also just feel like the InArt lines have been really kind of spread thin.
Yeah.
Like we haven't really felt like we've had anything that feels all that completed, right?
No.
And so while this is amazing to look at, it's also just kind of like you said, who do you even pair them with? I was thinking Fellowship characters, and I'm like, yeah, it's a completely different freaking movie. So I'm like, yeah, like what do you can't, like that doesn't even make sense time-wise, right? Chronologically. So and Vita, we've been chatting a little bit back and forth in our Let's Get Nuts chat and stuff. It sounds like a lot of people are still waiting on their InArt Paul Atreides, like a lot of people, and including people who bought directly from Queen Studios.
Yeah, shame.
They're still waiting. Whereas like I got mine from 16 not 1/6 figure
Kit.
focus. I got mine from
Kit.
1/6 kit, and I mean I got mine a week ago. I thought I was like the last one to be getting it because I'd seen people reviewing this like 4 months ago.
Yeah.
But apparently not. And it sounds like going directly through Queen Studios isn't necessarily a surefire way to get it all that quickly either, which I think is really annoying. Yeah, Adrian Underwood, 100% agree with you, man. Still waiting
Yeah,
on the Superman
I'd
update.
definitely be interested.
Yeah.
1000%.
Yeah.
Me too.
1000%. In fact, I've got my Hot Toys Reeve Superman. You can see it right in behind me here, and I've been seriously considering putting it up for sale in the hopes that we will get kind of an upgrade. But at the same time, I'm like, what if I sell it and then it never comes, right? And then I'm screwed.
It's taking a big punt there, aren't you? That the act of you listing it will mean that your dreams will come true. They know what I'm making, but yeah.
Legit. Because I'm in the same boat, even Pete, with my DeLorean Mark II, right? Like I've got the Hot Toys one, but I've now got the Blitzway one on order.
Oh, you
So
have?
part of
Yeah,
me
I
is like,
didn't.
You
yeah,
do.
I didn't pull
I
the
ordered
trigger.
it.
No.
Well, honestly, because of the price, I thought the
Oh, it's a
Blitzway
pretty good
DeLorean
price.
was gonna be. I thought it was gonna be like $1,400, $900.
Yeah.
I'm like, it's $100 more than what I paid for the Hot Toys one. I can move on the Hot Toys one and just have one in my collection. But even still,
Yeah.
same idea, right? Like as soon as that Blitzway one was announced, then the Hot Toys one crashed to the point where value-wise, to the point where I'm like,
It's
I
not
almost
worth
might as well
selling.
keep two.
Yeah.
Well, and have maybe like a Road one, like turn it into the Mark One technically, and have the Blitzway as the Mark II then maybe. So something along those lines. But what do you guys? Anybody else here have any thoughts on Thorn here from Lord of the Rings or The Hobbit, more specifically? No, not too much. Not too
No,
much.
I think it looks
That's
incredible.
okay.
Yeah, I think
Yeah,
it looks
fair.
incredible. I'm not collecting any of the Lord of the Rings or the Hobbit line, so I think they look incredible. But no.
I added
Yeah,
this to the
I
show
watched-
sheet at the absolute last minute, mostly because it was news for people who want to get it, like in terms of the date. But yeah, any final thoughts there, Robert? What were your thoughts?
Yeah, I've watched all 3 extended versions of the Lord of the Rings, so I've contributed my time. So I don't need figures from any movie. Yeah, that was good for me, the extended version. So yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Well, let's move on. But guys, anybody watching either live or on the replay, let us know if Thorin is something that you guys are really excited for. It'd be cool to see kind of a capture of the community of who is like, hell yes. Because even I thought the Collecting Weekly guys would be more excited about this, and even they don't seem super excited. So I was a little bit surprised by that for sure. But yeah, I'd love to hear what you guys have to say. Last but not least, Jim emailed them about a month ago and saying they would ship it in early May. We still didn't hear anything or received anything since, man. Like, and we're like at the end of May already. Like that's wild, dude. So, Bib Fortuna is up and is put out from Sideshow. I will say Sideshow sometimes gets a bit of a bad rap with regards to their figures. I think unjustifiably so lately, especially. I know the Beetlejuice, for example, people were like, oh, that Beetlejuice is going to be absolute shit. The body's going to be terrible, on and on and on. I love that figure. I think he's wonderful from Sideshow. The padding that they put around his belly makes him look like he's got the belly. It's got some of the best hand painting I've seen of any figure that I have in my collection. Like, wonderful hand painting. It's insane.
Yes.
So honestly, when this got put up the other day, I was like, holy crap, that looks good. He looks really good. And while I don't think I can go and collect any of the Scum and Villainy line at this point, like there's just too many that I don't have the connection to. You know, with Sideshow announcing there a couple weeks ago that they were looking at putting their Jabba the Hutt back up for pre-order again, now this character, at least specifically to me, I think is has a much broader appeal than he may have had previously if you couldn't get a Jabba in your collection. Press X, I know you're a big Star Wars guy. Of course, you're completely surrounded by amazing Star Wars pieces. Were you going in on the Scum and Villainy line? Was this one that you were thinking about getting? And we never got your thoughts on that Jabba as well. Did you have any thoughts from a couple weeks ago?
Ooh, I mean, as for the Jabba that they announced a few weeks ago, it is kind of the full package, and that you're getting the throne, you're getting, everything that comes with it. It's a little overpriced, I will say, if it's as hollow as, previous Jabbas have been. If it's a hollow piece of plastic, then if it's as thick and as substantial as the Dewback, which is not Sideshow, which is Hot Toys, but if it's as thick as that, then you've got something. Otherwise, I think it's probably about $200 overpriced. for what they're asking for. I think it looks good. I do think it looks good. I just think it's a bit overpriced, and you could probably do a better job if you went to the aftermarket. But if you don't have a Jabba and you want a Jabba, there you go. As for the Scum and Villainy line, I have scratched the surface on Scum and Villainy in that I got a Greedo and I got Bib Fortuna. So those are the two. It's hard because, we say, Star Wars without the aliens is pretty boring. It's just people wearing brown pants, pretty much. That's what Star Wars is.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, it's a bunch of people, and that's boring. So having the aliens, I'm so glad that Sideshow is doing the aliens. I'm not happy about the price, however, because if you think about what comes with these figures, in terms of accessories, in terms of a base, you don't get very much. You really don't.
Yeah.
What were you saying?
Just get hands with people.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, ooh, hands. It's like, that's great. I have hands.
Yeah.
Hands, bro.
Hands. Let's gesture hand and relaxed hands. Ooh,
that's
it. Tell me more.
What more do you want? Yeah.
Give him a drink. Give him a drink. Give him something. But yeah, the fact that it doesn't come with a whole heck of a lot, and the fact that it's priced around these are around $280-ish, right?
Yeah,
they're all $280. Yeah. It's about $20 to $30 more than I think it should be, especially for a lot of, like the Greedo, for instance. You don't have to pay for likeness rights with Greedo. It's Greedo. So anyone wearing a mask, why are they over $250? I'd get 100%. All of these if they were priced a bit better, but because they're priced the way they are, I'm going to have to be a bit more selective, and it's not a bad thing to be selective. And I will say, when it comes to Sideshow, I got the Beetlejuice and I got the Pennywise that they released, and both are absolutely fantastic figures.
Yes.
So I think in that regard, I think it's going to be a solid figure. I just wish that it came with a bit more, but is this going to be the first and last Bib Fortuna we get for a long, long time? Probably. Now, if they give us some Gamorrean guards, sign me up. Let's do it.
Absolutely. 100%. Well said, dude. And it's interesting call out on the hands too. I didn't even realize that was really the only accessories that go with that. It's kind of embarrassing when you think about it. And like I've talked about it before too, how Hono has really unveiled the Wizard of Oz, the man behind the curtain, right? How low in cost figures can actually be truly produced at. That first Wolverine with the seamless silicone arms and everything, right? You came in at $165. And you make a great point, X, is that like Greedo is a masked character, essentially. He does not need to be $280 unless the Star Wars license is that expensive. But I think that's smoke and mirrors. I think it's more along the lines of this is going to be the last time you get a chance to buy this, so spend the money or don't. And you're not a real Star Wars fan if you don't have every single one of these, which I think is also not true. Yeah. Because, I think the Greedo and Bib Fortuna of these folks standing here in front of me, they're the ones that stand out to me the most as like must-haves if you're like a huge OG trilogy fan. I think otherwise the rest are definitely great background characters, but unless you're setting up the bar scene, I don't know if there's a huge need for it. I saw 12-inch Moose Stream say, he's thinking about getting all the Scum and Villainy line before Kit Fisto and Plo Koon. I'd felt the same way about Plo Koon and Kit Fisto, if I'm being honest, though. That even they felt like great characters, but great background characters to the rest of what's going on. But I'm with you, X, that I do like alien characters, and I love, and I'm just a sci-fi nerd, so like I really just like aliens in general, whether it's Star Wars, Star Trek, or whatever, whatever they come from. So, Pete, did you have any final thoughts here?
I mean, I don't have any issue with his only accessories being hands, because he doesn't do it. He doesn't have anything else. He just and the hands are very gestury and stuff. So that's fine. But the price shouldn't be. I think it would cost me about £250 to get this guy over here. So you're looking at over 300, pushing 350 probably in US dollars. It's just not worth it. Objectively, I like all of them, and I did have Greedo on pre-order, but I managed to snag the original Sideshow one for a really good price. And the tailoring might be a little bit sharper, but I don't think the old figure is still a banger, and I think as soon as I got it for like half the price it would have cost me. I think if you get Jabba, you've got to have Bib Fortuna. He's a must-have. I think on his own, I'm not sure where I'd he'd very much be at the back of my kind of collection. I think I would of what was shown there. I would love to have Ponda Barber, Dr. Everson, Gurinden from A New Hope. All the New Hope ones are great. Not too bothered about these because they're Jedi. It's my least favourite of the three. Still a great movie. Still love it. Obviously, these guys are very much they're the denizens of Jabba's palace, or they're on the the skiffs and stuff like that. So I think they are real sort of hardcore completist jobs. But yeah, the price is Weequay would be good as well. The guy in front left, because I always loved him. He was always one of my favourite of the 3.75 figures. He was always quite an interesting look. So maybe him as well. But yeah, I'm not. I would say they shouldn't be any more than $200 to be fair, but it is what it is.
Sure. I do like the headshot marketing that they've got here on the right side. The collect them all. That definitely appeals to me. Like whenever I see a card that has figureheads on it like that, I'm like,
yeah. But also some of them are really limited numbers, aren't they? I think the devil guy was. So they're charging these crazy prices, and they're also kind of forcing you to pre-order early if you're worried about missing out, which I don't necessarily agree with either.
Well, and I hate fighting in lineups for figures. I just have never really enjoyed that. I wish that companies would get away from limited numbers and have more of like a timed window. Like once the window is closed, that's how many we'll create. And because there would still technically be limited numbers in existence, you would have the opportunity to buy it if you want it.
Yeah, right? I think we all work hard for this money and for our money, and they're not cheap. And to then say to you, actually, you've saved up your money, you've got your money, but you still can't have it. I think just blows, to be honest. But
definitely.
Yeah.
Red Ledger, good to see you here. Says at least they aren't asking for 35% NRD. True. But I mean, again, if you can even get your hands on some of these characters if you want them, right? I think that's like Pete's point. If they're that rare, then the collect them all slide that we just showed there.
Yeah.
That's kind of a slap in the face.
Yeah.
So, guys, we have 60 people watching live right now. Thank you so much for being here, getting nuts with us on a Sunday. If you don't mind, I forgot to ask earlier, if you don't mind hitting the like button, it just helps share the stream to everybody else who will watch it later on replay. I would definitely appreciate it, especially if you are enjoying the show, of course. Guys, let's move on here. Blitzway. We got Blitzway twice in the news this week. This was one that stood out to me. I watched this with the girlfriend in theaters, and had a great time watching this film. It was a wonderful, wonderful movie. Definitely brought some tears to my eyes for sure. Hit me in the feels, I will say. And after the film, I was like, honestly, I would love to collect this character, but there wasn't really one to buy. There wasn't really one that I could immediately go and like emotionally buy, at the very least, right? And so, Bright Bill here comes with the robot there as well. I think it looks good from Blitzway. I think all of this looks fantastic, and I think it's coming in at $189 price point or something along those lines. So pretty reasonably priced for what you get. It does have some die cast construction in there as well. So I think that's really cool. I think I'm going to buy this personally. I think this one's going to come to my collection.
Is it 1/6 scale?
1/6 scale. Yeah.
And how tall is he in 1/6 scale?
I don't see
from a human size, or
I'm sure they did.
Yeah,
he's a little bit taller than human size, I think. So
okay,
technically, it's a she robot technically.
Yes,
as
well. I loved the movie. I thought it was great, but it's a shame it doesn't. It'd be great if it came with all the other animals that taught her how to do the different things, like the eagle, and because he was cool. Absolutely. I liked him. Yeah.
Also, some more battle damage would have been my only other ask, right? Like if you could swap out some of the panels to make her look a little bit aged, right? After she spends all that time in the forest. So, yeah, I think I'm gonna for the price point. I think I'm gonna go in on this and get it just as a commemorative piece to a fun date night, right? So, 12-inch Moose Stream in the chat says with his 16 months of membership, Happy Memorial Day and to all my favorite people. Peace to you all. Thank you so much for being a member for so long there, Moose. Definitely appreciate you, buddy. Do any of the rest of you guys have any takes on this? Because I do want to get onto Blitzway Ghostbusters, which I think most of us will probably have more feels on. But did anybody else see Wild Robot, or is this something that you guys were considering putting in the basket?
I was considering putting the lotion in the basket.
Wow, Jesus Christ. Thank you for that. Yeah, that's gross, but I'll take it. No, everybody
Sorry.
else pass on this one for the most part. Anybody in the chat? Anybody in the chat getting this one? No, like I must be the only one. I was excited. I was excited to see this.
They will sell 2.
Yeah.
I hate to say it. Okay, well, let's move on then to the Blitzway Ghostbusters. The Blitzway Ghostbusters PO is getting put up. Of course, we are going to see that coming this June. It looks to me like these are essentially a recreation of what we've already had in the past. So unfortunately for the folks who have these grails in their collection, that grail status has now been taken down a peg in terms of the value of those figures, if that's what you care about. However, I will say that the present toys ones that they put out are just not great. I just really didn't like the look of them. They were not good. I do feel bad for distributors like 16Kit who are probably taking a bit of a pounding at this point, because I know that they were just starting to send out invoices.
Yeah,
for the
I've
present
let
toys
mine.
ones.
I'm letting mine slide. Yeah.
Yeah.
I got the invoice for Spengler. Yeah, and I'm not.
Yeah.
I'm not.
But they're just not as good. They're just not as good. If they were the only option that you could get, maybe, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah. What do you think, Press X? Did you have any thoughts on Ghostbusters? Are you even a Ghostbusters fan, or is this one that you can kind of pass on?
I mean, I definitely grew up watching the first 2 films, and the fact that people are getting another chance to get these at retail, I really appreciate. The fact that people are able to get their hands on these. Now, whether or not we're going to get another Ecto 1 on the way, that would be great to see as well. I am still on the fence as to whether I'm going to add these to the collection, only in that there's just so much. We got walloped with Star Wars. We always get walloped with Star Wars these days because there's not a lot of Marvel stuff happening. So they decided to wallop us with Star Wars, whether it's Hot Toys or Sideshow. And then, we got a lot of Batman stuff that just landed.
Mm-hmm.
So Ghostbusters may not make the cut, unfortunately, but we'll see, because Blitzway has a great way of pricing their products that make you go, that make you stand up and take notice. And I think this will be, much the same. So we will see. We will see.
Well, and the good thing here is the 4-pack, right? Because I think for the longest time it was the 3-pack that existed, and people really had to chase down a Winston in order to have all 4 of them. But now, this being the 4-pack being available to people, I think
there was a 4-pack originally.
Originally too, right? But there was a 3-pack too.
There was a 3-pack as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I know that 4-pack was the one that was really sought after, because I mean, Winston's just as much of the 4 Ghostbusters as anybody else. I don't know why they would have kept him out.
Yeah, it was a little bit racist, that wasn't it? Yeah,
100%, dude, 100%. What are you showing us there, Press X? What are you showing us?
Oh, that's X-Men.
Books. Oh, that's cool.
Yeah,
that's really cool.
It came with my Tobin Spirit Guide.
Oh,
nice.
Jesus.
From the second movie.
Hell yes. No, from the first, because aren't they reading the Tobin Spirit Guide in the prison
at
the
but
beginning of the first movie?
Isn't his
then
bookstore
they
for the
dive
second
more into
one?
it in the second. That's true.
Yeah.
You're right. That's cool, man. I heard you telling us a little bit about that the other day. All the
I love this thing so much. It's such a good book.
Hell yeah. Pete, what do you think about the Ghostbusters making a return with Blitzway? Do you think we're going to see another Ecto 1 from them as well? What are your thoughts?
So I owned the original set. I didn't keep them for long because I didn't think they were that great, to be fair. The bodies were too big, so they were almost pushing like sort of 13-inch height. So if you had them in against any other figures, you really noticed a difference in the scaling. The head sculpts weren't great either. I think Ray was the best. I kept Ray for a little while, then moved him on. I've got a very emotional attachment to Ghostbusters, the original movie, and it kind of makes me make decisions that are not very informed. So I did. So I wouldn't have chased these because I owned them and I didn't think they were that great. The star of the show with these figures is the proton packs, and that was all fantastic, and the lights and everything. Then when the present toys came up for pre-order, I did put in an order for all of them because I didn't think the head sculpts were that bad, and obviously they're only like £150 each in UK money, and they all came with 2 head sculpts, like an emotive one and a more sort of relaxed face. The reason I'm not gonna follow through with those and just let Kit keep my deposits. It's not necessarily that I don't think they've come out well. It comes down to the fact that as much as I love the movie, you're spending a lot of money on 4 guys all in the same suits, and we were all always talking about lack of space, variety and stuff in the things, and to me, I'd have to kind of dedicate a whole shelf to these 4, and I think I'd just end up thinking actually I'd rather have sort of 4 very different characters in my collection. And as I said, the star of the show is the proton pack. So the ideal kind of display is having them with their backs to you, with like the Gozer on the top of the have some sort of backdrop. So, and again, then you're paying a lot of money for not seeing their faces and stuff like that. Yeah, so that's kind of why I'm not going with the present size. And again, with these, if they're the same bodies, then people are going to have a problem unless they're completely separate from other stuff. The head sculpts, they've obviously got the Ray and Pete have got different heads there because they didn't have the emotive sculpts. I don't know if they're going to come with 2 each, like the present size, because Ray's got the one with the cigarette stuck to hanging off his lip, and Venkman's screaming when Slimer's coming towards him. The other 2 have got what looked like the exact same head sculpts from the first release. So I'd be interested to see what I think they should at least sort the bodies out, because I don't think you'd have to retailor the outfits because they're baggy by nature anyway. But yeah.
And figure scaling has been getting bigger also.
Yeah.
Right? So like back when these came out, like even like my my DX12 Batman, for example, he's now noticeably smaller than virtually all the other characters around him. And so scaling already has gotten bigger. I wonder if they'd match a little bit, just a little bit better.
And as for Ecto 1, they'd be silly not to. But I think the issue that a lot of collectors, certainly this side of the Atlantic, was the shipping costs. And you were paying almost as much for the shipping as you were for the product itself. So I think it still would be out of most people's storage space and also their wallets as well. But they did look like a phenomenal piece. Right? Yeah, exactly. But it's always
Pete, that Batman Collector did say here that they've already confirmed that they have no plans for the Ecto 1, so that's news to me. I didn't hear that yet.
So that's going to just drive the price of that up, isn't it? Because if people go in on these and they're going to start back, working backwards to try and get that Ecto 1, it's only going to just soar in price, isn't it? But yeah.
Well, and Hot Toys had that Afterlife version, which I think was a pretty decent stand-in if you'd never got the original Blitzway one, right? I think the Afterlife version.
Did they release one?
I don't know if it's coming out yet.
So.
I know it was up for pre-order at least.
Is it? Okay.
Yeah, pretty sure. Pretty confident. Could be wrong, right? Don't fact check me here, guys.
It's an odd one if they haven't got the figure line, but yeah.
Yeah, right.
I mean, you're not having a good night, Ben. So
I know. Do your homework is what I need as a thing. You love to see it. Love to see it. That's okay. That's okay.
I think Blitzway did an Afterlife. I think Blitzway did the Afterlife.
It might have been Blitz. Sorry, is it Blitzway that did the Afterlife? Okay, yeah. I hate to see it. Yeah, I'm just wrong. Fake fan.
But they didn't do any figures from it, did they?
What's a Ghostbuster?
No. Yeah, who are these figures?
Who are these garbage guys? Yeah. I would love to see Gozer the Gozerian, though. I would definitely love to see that, because I agree. I think if you're not going to be able to pose them up with an Ecto 1, then I would love to pose them up, in that kind of final scene going off against Gozer for sure. Jose, you said you had some quick thoughts here, buddy, before we move on. What were you thinking about Ghostbusters here?
It's funny. I hadn't really seen these movies up until a couple of years ago, so I don't have like the nostalgia pool. But I actually really, really liked the movies. Primarily the first one, and I really liked Afterlife. The second one I thought was good, but not as good as the original. And I really liked Afterlife. I didn't really like the sequel that they made for that one. But anyways, long story short, I think that these figures they're definitely interesting, but I'd be curious to see the price. What's the price for the 4-pack? How much is it going to cost? What's going to be shipping? I mean, I don't know. Like, is it going to be as expensive as that Penguin? I'm like, are we talking tariff fees as well? So all that is what you have to take into account for this. But I definitely keep my eye on them for sure.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Well said. I'm excited to see as well. I'm thinking probably I would think $300 per, somewhere in that range, right? So probably $1,200 ish. But I mean, I've seen these guys going on the aftermarket as high as $2,000 or higher, which is crazy over the last couple of years, right? Especially as they became a chase.
Because they had because the 4-pack had Slimer and like the police barriers and stuff. So it'd be interesting to see if they include that stuff in the 4-pack again.
Yeah, no, I'm excited. I'm just in general, I think I'm excited to see, kind of like you said, Pete, if they're going to change them that much, if they'll scale them a little bit differently, will they improve some of these items, right? So I still think I'm going to go in on them. I do think I'll go in on them, despite your concern about sizing.
Oh, I'm not trying to put people off. Yeah, I mean, that's my observations. Yeah.
For sure. I think just in terms of like a display, I think having them all 4 in the display would be pretty cool. And I mean, it's a super iconic movie from my childhood. If I'm being honest, so like I definitely I'm excited. I'm excited for these.
How would you display them then? Like, would all 4 of them be like in one little square, like, or would you put them all separate, one and one, like?
No, I think I would do all 4 in one square, but I might actually utilize risers. So I might have like 2 in the front and then 2 on risers and behind, so you can kind of see. All 4 of them, almost as though they're coming down the steps, right? So it would also be cool to, maybe get like a stairwell diorama or something, making them look like they're climbing the stairs in that hotel, right? Like, there could be lots of different things that you do. So you could make it, you have like what looks like broken pavement. So like when they get thrown under the, when they fall underground, when Gozer starts arriving, that could be cool. There's lots of cool things that you can do with it for sure. But put marshmallow all over them maybe, and see how that looks.
Whoa, it's not the kind of stream.
Whoa!
Wow, it's not the kind of stream.
Whoa!
We don't want to see you apply marshmallow to your toys.
Don't when you get nuts on those Ghostbusters.
Right.
This isn't Let's Get Fluffernutter.
That's oh my god, guys! We've got a couple more topics here. I want to talk Stitch. I want to talk some Jazzinc releases and announcements and all the news there as well. And then we still do have another channel member giveaway, one more to do before the end of the show. Let's quickly address Stitch here. I know this isn't as exciting, so we're not going to take very much time on this. But Stitch did get announced from Hot Toys this past week. He's not quite a 1-to-1 scale. Looks like he's at least a little bit smaller than his movie counterpart would be. I'll be honest, I was at Walmart the other day and I saw a Stitch on the rack that was like a stuffed animal Stitch, and he looked fantastic. So to me, this is not one that I need by any stretch. I also haven't seen the film yet. I've heard some mixed reviews. Some people have loved the film. Some people are like, meh, it's not exactly capturing the same magic that the animated film had. And I'll be 1000% honest with you guys. I have never seen the animated film. It just leads to that.
I've never seen it.
No, you're doing yourself a disservice, man. Come on.
Yep. My nerd card out the window. So this is 100% a skip for me. What I will be excited to see is, like anytime there's an announcement, people seem excited in the Facebook, but then it's like, how many people actually buy it? That's what I'll be curious to see. How many displays will we see this in future?
Yeah. Who owns the Who and Piglet set?
Oh yeah, that was really limited.
Yeah, absolutely. Oh, JB Velo says, will we get a Dana Barrett that we can kit bash as Ripley? Yeah, man, I would take a Dana Barrett.
That'd be cool.
Yeah, absolutely. Or was it X-Men? I think you said you had some thoughts here on Stitch, though. What came up for you, buddy?
This thing surprised the hell out of me, man, because I watched the cartoon when it came out in 2002, and that next year I ended up moving to Hawaii, and my kids were like super young when this movie came out, and like I was watching all the Disney stuff, but I loved the hell out of Lilo and Stitch, and I forgot how much I loved that movie until I saw this, and I emailed Ray as soon as I saw this and ordered it.
Oh my!
You did, eh? That's awesome.
Yeah. I didn't realize the nostalgic hold that Stitch held on me, but he's got me. I gotta get him. And this probably means I gotta get Grogu and Baby Groot too.
He is really freaking cute. I've still been really on the fence of trying to hunt down that new Grogu in the bag. I think he looks really good, and I don't have a life-size Grogu. I thought the Sideshow one originally looked better than the Hot Toys one, the Hot Toys 1.0. But that 2.0 looks pretty great. This I think it looks cute. I like the flocked kind of material there. I think Hot Toys should try to apply that to other characters in the future if they can, even in their 6 scale line. But until I see the film, I have no connection to it, unfortunately. So it's still a skip for me. But it is fun to see people or Hot Toys doing new things. And I think as collectors, sometimes we give that criticism, right? When you've seen the 95th Iron Man in the last 2 years, it's like, oh man, okay, like when are we going to get us something else? And then when they give us something else, a lot of us are like, yeah, skip. So it's one of those things. It's one of those things. But it is damn cute. I will give him that credit at the very, very least. Let's move on to some Jazzinc news today. So, Jazzinc, we talked a little bit about the Jack Nicholson stuff at the beginning of the show. Of course, we have some pretty amazing updates. So, it does sound like Linda Carter has signed off for a figure to be made by Jazzinc. Very, very, very exciting. She's beautiful. To me, she will always be Wonder Woman. 100%. I love Gal Gadot. Don't get me wrong. She did a great job with what material she had, but Linda Carter is Wonder Woman, and she will definitely be a figure that I will go in on with Jazzinc if we get the opportunity, because she's fantastic. Julie Newmar's Catwoman as well. This one I don't have the same level of connection to, I'll be honest. I actually think I like the Eartha Kitt version of Catwoman more from the original series a little bit more than Julie, but still iconic actress. And is very, very cool that we get to see her potentially coming pretty soon, it sounds like. And then, of course, Helen Slater.
Yes.
So the OG Supergirl
Yes.
as well.
Yeah.
Looks really, really good. It would be awesome to have her in the display. Super iconic outfit as well, right? So, and then last but not least, and I'll let you guys talk to all 4 of these lovely ladies here. Uma Thurman is also still in the works. Now, Yost did say she's pushed down the line a little bit further. They've got some of the work done on her already, but they're really focusing their efforts in on Julie Newmar's Catwoman, and of course, Linda Carter.
As they should.
Yeah, we'll see those probably first. But hey, you know what? I've got the George Clooney Batman coming. I've got the Mr. Freeze coming. So I'm like, hell yes! Once Jazz puts this up, I will go in on her for sure. And wow, that sounded dirty. And to be honest, I haven't loved. Right? Sorry, ladies. Anybody who's watching, I hate to see it. I will say that while I do like the Mars Toys offering so far that we've seen as well, like the Riddler or the Mr. Enigma and stuff, it's not the best character. So I'm excited to see a little bit more.
They're pretty good.
A little bit more. I've got both. I've got the Riddler. I've got the Two-Face on order from Mars Toys. I'm excited to see what that one looks like. But if there's some improvements here, I would be excited. I would be excited as well. So Press X, you were there. You were in the hot seat with Yost and Leal when some of these announcements popped up. What were your thoughts here on these ladies coming to our 1/6 collection?
My thought is that I'm going to go broke is what's going to happen here, because you almost can't believe what you're hearing. You're like, oh, it's like all your childhood dreams are coming true. Yes, we knew that Julie Newmar was coming, and that for me was a dream come true. And then of course the fact that he's going to and he's going to do Eartha Kitt. Produce an Eartha Kitt figure as well, in which case, yes, that's also my Catwoman. So having those is, for me, a dream come true. And then hearing that, by the way, Linda Carter, it just made me think, it's like, you think it's a figure that they would never be able to do, and yet it's going to be a reality. It's going to be something that we're going to be able to pre-order, much like we thought the Michelle Pfeiffer Catwoman was never going to happen. And yet it happened. We were able to pre-order it, and I have a feeling, this Supergirl is going to be the same way. So he's really tapping into this market that is being ignored by a lot of companies for whatever reason. Is being ignored by a lot of companies. Either that, or he's just putting in the extra work to get these licenses and to get these actors to sign over, their likenesses. And I think a lot of the work that he's been doing so far with, the Michelle Pfeiffer, and being able to show, here's what I can do with your character, and showing that to all these actors and actresses, I think goes a long way to persuading them that he's, the real deal. So I'm super excited by everything that he announced, and I'll be getting all of these. All of these ladies will be added to the collection because I think he's going to do justice for each and every one of them. And he just so happened to have chosen characters that I will say yes to, every single one of them. And, well played, Jazzinc, well played.
Absolutely. And we'll talk, I see the chat mentioning price point as well. Great discussion points there, guys. We are going to talk price here in the next couple slides as well, because that'll come up a little bit with Penguin. So stay tuned for some thoughts on pricing. But Pete, did you catch the news with Yoast? I mean, it was such a great
No, I didn't. I'll have to
Press X. I mean, I was literally taking notes as I was watching the show, because there was so much stuff that was being unveiled and talked about that I was like, oh my god, like I legitimately have to write notes.
Which show is that on, Ben?
This was 1/6 Scale Man's YouTube channel.
Yeah, no, I'll have to
Friday afternoon on Friday.
I love all this stuff. It's great, and I have a real soft spot for Supergirl, Helen Slater, and I would love that figure. But I don't want to sound like a hypocrite here, because I've obviously got some comments about the Penguin and the pricing and stuff. So as much as I would love this, I probably wouldn't order it because I kind of know what sort of price it's going to be. And the thing is with Jazzinc as well, they're giving us all different flavors. You know, I don't think there's been a figure announced yet that just has, this is the version. There's very much like there's this one and there's this one, and if you want this and this, so this one I suppose you could probably just get away with just having the figure because there's not really much else that you could have. But I'd like to say that I would be all over this, but if it's going to cost me £500, then no. So it would very much depend on price for me, but I'd love to have the figure.
That's fair.
Yeah.
I mean, and again, we'll talk a little bit more about price later too, because I'll pull up all the prices for Penguin.
Yeah,
but I do think that there is room for Yoast to still give some of these figures kind of a standard unit price. That $200 to $350 price range, somewhere in there, for something is a little bit stripped down, right? I think what he's trying to necessarily do, or at least what I feel like is inferred, is that he is trying to give collectors, multiple head sculpts, multiple different expressions, multiple different display options and stuff. What I end up finding that I do the calculus on, though, is do I truly need all of that extra cool stuff? While it's amazing stuff to have in the box, once I find a figure pose and an expression I typically like, I usually stick with that for pretty significant periods of time, and a lot of those additional accessories do stay in the box. And so I think if there is the option to, say, for example, have a Supergirl with a neutral expression like this, and then maybe a $500 version that has multiple head sculpts and blah blah blah,
red eyes,
then I can see the appeal of both.
Yeah,
and that could maybe tip you over what you're saying.
And I think for me, I just collect a lot of different lines, so I have to be more. If you're a DC collector, then these are absolute musts, and you've kind of got that you're going to dedicate the space to them. Whereas I've only got like one shelf, which is a bit of DC and Marvel, because I'm mostly Star Wars, indie, 80s stuff. So it's more difficult for me to kind of. But obviously, if DC's your thing, then these are great, and I'd be able to find the money for them. But to me, it's like, well, would I rather have this, or would I rather have some more stuff for my Star Wars or things like that? So,
prioritization.
Yeah.
That's hard. That's really hard, especially when they're characters you love, but they're not necessarily a priority for a display. I always struggle with that myself. X-Men, what do you think, buddy, in terms of some of the ladies here, before we talk about the Penguin and the figures that we've seen as well? What are your thoughts on the ladies?
What is it Shane always says? Beans and toast? Yeah, dude, that's gonna be me for like a whole fucking year. Like this is like, it's like because I didn't see the interview, and I saw earlier today a little bit of Leal's stream talking about this, and he was talking about what's going on with Wonder Woman, and I immediately emailed Yoast and the crew over there, and I just said thank you. Freaking thank you, because this is how many times have we have so many of us said I really would like to have a Linda Carter Wonder Woman, and this is just this is so much Christmas.
So much Christmas.
It's crazy, dude.
Good way to
Like
put it.
like I'm about to live in a world where I can have Linda Carter and Helen Slater and Julie Newmar on my fucking shelf, dude. Dude, never mind the fact that they're still gonna do at some point Christopher Reeve.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And how great is that gonna be to finally have Superman and Supergirl from that era together?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's gonna be so
100%.
fantastic.
hmm
Oh man, there's like, see, this is turning out to be like the whole Deadpool and Wolverine situation with me, because like, I canceled a lot of shit because of that, and I changed. I had a lot of decisions that I changed my mind on because of those figures, and this is gonna be no different. These are gonna be a lot more expensive, but I kind of don't care.
Yeah.
I will.
I'm sorry. you were saying-
Yeah, I will spend that money on these. Now it depends on because like the Penguin, right? Well, we're gonna talk about him, sure, but like it depends on what I want accessories wise. But I have a feeling I'm gonna see like the ultimate versions of these, and I'm gonna be like, well, I gotta have all that, So like, if they do, if Yost does them in like their alter egos too, bro.
Oh.
Get ready to bend over, y'all, because
Yeah.
Oh my.
It's gonna
that's
be-
just the way this is gonna go. That's just the way this is gonna go. Like, man, I don't even. Yost, I love you, man.
If you watch the interview, you will hear me say that I love him. Yes, I did tell him that I love
several
him.
times.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Dave, out of interest, you talk about you having Linda Carter, so I can see that you could easily pose Reeve with her as a Superman. But what were your thoughts of Batman? Because I think Keaton is obviously probably the obvious choice, but I feel like because we didn't have a 70s Batman, it feels a little bit too modern to go with those two.
I'm doing Adam West.
Adam West.
Yeah.
I'm doing Adam West. I had this vision in my head of like having like a friggin' drive-in setup with the
Yeah.
Batmobile and have Adam West and Julie Newmar and Christopher
Love
Reeve
it. Yeah.
and Linda Carter like on a friggin' like movie date.
Yeah, that'd be
Yeah.
cool.
And
As
that's
weird
what
as-
I'm gonna do with my life. That's gonna
As
be
weird
it.
as it is, the Nick Cage Superman is Michael Keaton's version from the Tim Burton.
Technically
movie.
speaking,
Yeah.
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 So
yeah, and he does exist in the multiverse for better
Yes,
or
he does.
worse.
Yeah.
and he
Now-
does exist. Mhm.
But the shiny rubber Superman.
Yeah.
Come on,
Long hair.
come on. Oh.
The Newmar Catwoman and the Linda Carter Wonder Woman, you're going to get signature plates as well. So you're going to get the
Yes.
autographs
Yeah.
for Linda Carter
Yeah.
and Julie Newmar with the figure.
That's very cool.
I'm not a signature guy, but I may have to do that.
Well, and like I'm looking at the signature, and I'll talk about that too. But on the animated series Batman one, the Paul Dini signature, I'm like, that's
Yes,
pretty freaking
very
cool
cool.
to have.
That is cool.
What are your thoughts?
And it's only
What are your thoughts
it's
here,
small
Jose, on
difference.
these announcements?
Yeah, well, real quick, it's just a very small minimal difference. I believe it's like $60, and they're making the plate for you. Like,
Yeah.
so it's like the plate is already made for you. Like, if you bought that separately and got that custom made, it'd be like $20. And plus, getting someone to sign it for you, it's like you have to go to the con, you got to wait in line, you got to do this whole thing. It's like at this point they are providing it. It's like it's as authentic as it can be, other than you being visually and like seeing it there, like in person. But in terms of these lovely ladies, I'm excited about the possibility of all these figures. Helen Slater's Supergirl, like you guys were mentioning, everything that you guys have just said, I'm excited. Pairing her next to Christopher Reeve once that gets made. I don't know if InArt makes her or whoever makes Christopher Reeves, and then Jazzinc makes this one. Whatever's, I'll take whatever I can get. The Julie Newmar is interesting. I don't really have a tie to the 60s. I don't collect the 60s Batman, but I do like Catwoman as a character, so it's something that I might be interested in. Poison Ivy is obvious, especially with the Clooney and the Mr. Freeze figures from Hot Toys. So I'm very interested to see how that turns out, how many looks we get. She wears multiple outfits in the movie, so I'm interested to see if it's one of those things where like they offer two different options, so on and so forth. Like the Penguin, you get 13 different SKUs. So I'm interested to see what happens there. But yeah, I'm very excited about all of them. Which one am I missing? Supergirl, Helen, Uma Thurman, and then Wonder Woman. Obviously, this one is, yeah, it's just without words, man. It's so exciting to get this. We always thought this would never happen, but once we started seeing the statues, I thought, I'm like, eventually something will happen, and I'm glad. It's happening. In the signature, I'll say, like, if it's like not a huge significant difference, I say you buy it, because it's always more valuable with that.
Yeah, totally agree. Well said. I have put up a poll in the chat, guys, just so you guys are aware as well. Please vote on it. It is which penguin, because we're going to talk about penguin here in a minute. Which penguin, the sewer, the mayor, one of the DXs, or that 2-pack? As of right now, we only have 7 votes, but it's 100% mayor so far, so I'll be curious to see in the next 15 minutes what that poll looks like. So please vote if you can on your phones or your devices. Definitely appreciate it. Robert Field of Burn, certainly last but not least, good sir, what were your thoughts on these lovely ladies being teased by Jazzinc?
Most of these I have been waiting for like the longest time. Like I even told like the movie canon Geo, like, I hope somebody makes a Helen Slater, because even though the movie wasn't great, I still cherish it. That's like my favorite. And the Poison Ivy I've been wanting for the longest time, and it's a great time to do it, especially with like Jose said, with the Clooney figures and Mr. Freeze and all that. The only figure I'm kind of iffy on is the Julie Newmar, is because I have like all the Mars Toys 66 versions, and they said that they were going to do like a double pack with Julie Newmar and Eartha Kitt. So I'm kind of like, well, do I wait for that, or do I see what Jazz has to do? Because I mean, personally, if I were to choose one, it would be Eartha Kitt for me, and I know that's going to be way down the line. So, yeah, I would have to see what Mars does, but they're so slow too, so I don't know what they're doing. So,
Mars has been like non-existent lately. They haven't really been. I mean, very small, minimal updates. I think they just recently shared Two-Face, right? There was an update on Two-Face. But they've been like MIA, man. I don't know what's the deal with Mars.
Really? Yeah, and like they keep talking about, they're finishing up the Penguin 66, but no news. So I'm just like, what's going on? So, but yeah, the Wonder Woman, I'm definitely getting that. I'm pretty much getting all of them. Just depending. The Catwoman, I have to see what it looks like. I will say that. The rest, I'm getting completely. Yes. So I'm very excited.
Fair. That's fair. What do you guys feel like your confidence level is in Jazzinc's ability to pull these characters off, right, in 6 scale? I've heard
100%
in the community. I've heard lots of people in the community say 100%. I feel 100% to me. I feel like they cannot afford to fail. They literally cannot afford to fail.
I trust them more than I do Hot Toys. That's for sure. Sorry, that's me. Hot Toys can't seem to get their likenesses right. On some figures, yes. Most figures, not quite.
No, but I feel like Robert brings up a good point.
Oh, what?
Absolutely. I feel like they can't afford to fail. If they do, like, for example, InArt, right? When InArt, the branch of InArt from Queen Studios came out, if InArt shit the bed, then they could cut off that branch. They could be like, we tried, we failed, don't worry, Queen Studios still has its reputation. Queen Studios is still the statue company you've all come to know and love. But Jazzinc is putting their name on their figures just like they have on their vehicles. And because their reputation for vehicles has gotten to be so strong in the last year and a half especially, it would hurt their brand to go all in on these figures to then have them flop and not work out. It just wouldn't be worth the risk, in my opinion, because otherwise they already had a successful business model with vehicles. And so for me, I definitely have that confidence in them. But I've heard a lot of people say, I don't want to buy the next one until I see Catwoman come out or some of these other things. On the other hand, I'm also like, I've got that fear of missing out of, I don't want to miss out on a character that I absolutely love and want in my collection just because I'm worried that that it might not hit the figure perfectly. Because even Hot Toys, kind of like you said, like even Hot Toys doesn't nail every figure, and we still pay pretty exorbitant amount of money for those characters as well. Let's be honest. I don't think Jazzinc is expensive when it comes to their 2-packs and some of these options that they're giving us, but they're still relatively in line, in my opinion, price point wise for Hot Toys and InArt, as long as the quality is somewhere within that sphere. But do you guys have any other thoughts on that?
Yeah, they're essentially on the same level as no, they're not the same level. I feel like they're a couple of steps above, easily a couple of steps above the artisan line.
Mm-hmm. Oh yes.
And they're in that same price range, right? So like right now, if you go to Kit or Spec Fiction to buy the old Penguin, he's in that price range if you get just one of them.
Yeah.
So I think they're doing okay in that regard. Like they're working on putting out high quality stuff, accurate stuff. It's not going to be that crappy old true type body that Hot Toys likes to do. Like I don't want that. I don't want that under a Catwoman suit. I don't want that.
Of course. Yeah.
So I'm never gonna want to buy a Catwoman from Hot Toys because of that. Mm-hmm. It annoys me with all the suits that I see on my own shelf. That if I want to bend a leg up, you're gonna have that weird ass gap, and it's like, what the fuck is that? What's? It's like, were you wearing a fucking diaper or something? What the hell? I can't live like that, dude. I can't live like that.
Yeah, and then the last 2 releases of the Anne Hathaway Catwoman have not been great. It's like we give Hot Toys all these flowers for all the amazing things they do, right? Because more times than not, they knock it out of the park. But sometimes they shit the bed, with the likeness, with the figure. It was that was supposed to be a 2.0. I received it and I was like, it looks like
we
it
both
does.
sold ours immediately.
Yeah. We got rid of them, and I was like, where's the InArt one or whatever? Because at this point we're gonna have to wait for someone else to do an actual more modern take on the figure, because that figure, the 2.0, that was like a 2013 release. That was a 2017 release. Like that was good for those years, back to those standards, but not for 2025.
And I'm not even a fan of Anne Hathaway, but I'll wait for an InArt version because I need a Catwoman from that era.
Yeah, same, dude. Yeah, same. And let's be clear here. Sometimes when we're on these streams as panelists or as hosts, we talk about our excitement for these characters, right? We talk about the excitement for these actors getting a figure portrayal finally in our collections, right? And we've been so excited for it. But the intention is also not to necessarily enable you into buying, right? There is still that element of risk that these figures don't come out as well as we all hope. That's absolutely the case. And I wouldn't want anybody to feel like Ben and his panel told me we had to buy these because they were going to be amazing. And then they were, quality, but not what I thought they would be. I think either way, you still have to vote with your own wallet. You still have to do your own homework. You have to be able to have some tolerance for risk. And if it's the character you love, almost no matter what, as long as it's better than any representation we can get our hands on right now, you're still going to love it in your collection. You still 100% will. I've got figures in my collection that are just like that I'm like, now that I have that representation in my collection, it might not be a perfect figure, but man, do I freaking love it, because I've got that character now. And I feel that way about Exo-6 a lot, if I'm being honest, right? You guys know how much I love Star Trek. Exo-6 figures are not perfect figures. But the fact that I have a next generation representation in my display, happy as a clam. And I do expect that Yost, because of his fandom, because of the expectation, because of the pressure, all of the things that we talked about, I do think they'll, pressure makes diamonds. I think these are going to be pretty amazing figures. Adrian Underwood says, let's blame Ben. Do not blame me. That is not cool. You hate to see it. You hate to see it. Ben the Enabler. Yeah, there you go. We're getting to the last quarter of the show here, guys. Again, 61 folks in the chat right now. Thanks for being here, getting nuts with us. If you're just joining us, we're talking Jazzinc news. If you don't mind, hit the like button for us to get all of the stream out to all of the other folks out here who will watch this on replay, of course. Let's move on to this piece of Jazzinc news here. And that, of course, is Batman animated series. So I'm on record saying I have had the Mondo Batman animated series figures. Didn't love them. They felt like they were kind of a large representation of the 1/12 scale figures I already had. So I moved them on. I know S Hero had put out a version as well, and some people really like the S Hero. Some people are kind of lukewarm on it. I thought the proportions were a little odd on that one, so I did hold off on the S Hero. I've been waiting to see what Jazzinc would do, and they honestly, for me, haven't disappointed. Not only have they given us the animated artistic representation with both a non-signature edition as well as a signature edition, but they've also given us the realistic body type version. And something that stood out to me in that interview the other day with you, Press X, and Lael's interview there, was that Yost has kind of confirmed that he's looking at doing a realistic body and an animated style body for all of the characters that they intend to at least look at producing. Of course, they've teased a little bit of Robin already. They've teased a little bit of Joker already. It sounds like if they're going in on that line, they're going in on it as deep as they feel like collectors are willing to spend their money on, and you will have both options. So my question for you guys on the panel, if you're considering the Batman animated series figures here, what body type are you going with? Because I feel like once you make the choice on Batman, it should almost kind of hold then through the remainder of the line. I don't think I'd want one realistic here and one animated there. I think that would be weird. So I've already pre-ordered the signature edition because I love Paul Dini. I've already ordered the signature edition animated style figure body. I think he's an animated character for me. That's the vision in my brain when I close my eyes and think about Batman. That's how he looks. So I'm excited. But I do really I like both. If I'm being honest, if I had funds for both, I would buy both just to see which one, once it's in the display, would look. But Press X, are you a Batman animated series fan? Is this something that you were considering going in on? And if so, what would your gut check be? Animated look, realistic look? What are your thoughts?
Batman the Animated Series, specifically, let's face it, Mask of the Phantasm is one of the best Batman films ever made.
Say it again.
Mask of the Phantasm. So if he makes a Phantasm, Yost, if you're listening to this, make a Phantasm.
Yost, please don't. I don't want to spend that money.
I'm a huge Batman, the animated series fan. I thought I watched every episode as they came out. I love the art style. I love the mature storytelling. The character designs were fantastic. What's not to love? It was some of the best Batman we've ever had. And Kevin Conroy is Batman. When I'm reading comic books, that's the voice that I hear. Is Kevin Conroy, 100%. And so this, I was super excited to see that he gave both the animated and a realistic body type, because it's something for everyone. If you want the animated, you go with animated. If you want something that's a bit different, you go with the realistic. I'm actually considering the realistic one, only in that I do have the S Hero Batman, but the realistic one, the more I look at it, the more it grows on me. And if he's gonna do this for the Joker and Phantasm, do a Phantasm. Then I'm all in on this line. So I'm excited and I'm excited by the price point of this as well, because it's a reasonable price for the products. So you could go deep on this line, which is exciting.
Yeah, $299 for the signature editions and only $249 for the non-signature editions. So really, the difference of $50 to $60 to have a signed nameplate from Paul Dini himself, like that. That's pretty freaking cool. Cool. X-Men Supreme, what do you think, buddy? I know you're a Batman guy as well, and especially an animated series dude. What are your thoughts here? Realistic versus animated?
Yeah, I'm so conflicted about, because I'm gonna get the animated one, but I was just thinking how friggin' ridiculous would it be to have the animated body for Batman, then have the regular body for Robin. like talk about throbbing, right? For real. But yeah, I gotta go with the animated body on this one. And I'm freaking I don't need to go deep on this line. I feel like I'd be good with Batman and with Robin and hopefully eventually Batgirl. And I think I'd be good there. I want that Batmobile. But I ain't got room for that Batmobile. Unless I get rid of something else that's just as big.
Oh,
And I've been toying with the idea of getting rid of my 66 to make room for the animated Batmobile, because that's like my second favorite Batmobile, next to the 89. But also, I really love that 66, dude. And like now that we've got all these retro, characters coming out, I kind of gotta have the 66 with this Catwoman now coming and everybody else. It's kind of an important part of that whole setup for me now. So it's like, I don't know what to do with my life, but like I'm definitely going in. I don't the realistic body. I think it looks good, but the more I look at it, the more it kind of weirds me out a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if it's just me. Like every time again, like because there's that one guy. Who was it that made one of these? Like some time ago, and I think he's still making them. But with more realistic bodies, and they look really good, but they're hella expensive. And they're not licensed.
No.
I cannot remember the guy's name, but he's on Instagram, and people know him for his figures, but I cannot think of his name right now. Regardless, I will get the animated version of this, and I do want Robin, and I do want Batgirl, and I don't know if I need anything else from that, depending on what it looks like and how it goes. But like there's too much good stuff coming out, so I got to kind of, you don't want to spread yourself too thin.
That's fair. And I mean, I'm seeing different opinions all over the place. Like, wonderful photographers and videographers like Figurecraft here is saying, he wants the realistic look, right? For me, I'm like, no, animated look. Benjamin E. Green says realistic Batman. I'm looking at this slide here thinking these are animated characters. I think they should look animated. Like they've got animated faces. It would be weird to have animated faces with a realistic body. For me, I look at this artwork here, right? Like look how slender Batgirl is and Harley Quinn and Poison Ivy, right? Look how stout Penguin is and how big the Bane is, right? Like their animated form helps to give them also some character in animation in the drawings themselves, to me. But in terms of figure photography, in terms of futzing them into a display that we're surrounded by other movie realistic characters all the time, sometimes that separation of really animated next to a movie realistic character breaks the immersion just in general in your collection. Then you almost need an entirely separate display for animated specifically. I know we have that trouble sometimes with Mondo, right? Where it's like, man, that Mondo figure's awesome, but I don't necessarily want to put, the Mondo Wolverine right next to the movie realistic looking Wolverine. It just doesn't, they don't look right together, even though they're both separately cool as hell. What do you think, Robert, in terms of Batman here, animated versus the realistic? Do you have a preference, especially when you see, again, all the other characters that are, always a possibility from Jazz?
See, I'm kind of conflicted with the bodies because I for sure want to have the animated look, but then I can see why people say they want the realistic look because he wears a skin tight suit, like Joker and Two-Face and like Mr. Freeze. They all have they're all fully clothed and they're not like wearing like skin tight suits. But when you look at like Harley Quinn or Poison Ivy or even a Catwoman or something like that, they wear skin tight suits. So I don't think that Yost would make like a specific body type to make it look animated. He'll probably just use realistic bodies for those. You know what I mean?
Maybe.
So it's like I'm kind of teetering on the idea. Do I need this one or that one? So it's kind of hard right now. I'm still kind of thinking about it, but yeah. That just came across my mind when I was like, well, if he's really going to go down the line, there are some characters that are just going to have realistic bodies no matter what. But, I mean, I don't know. It's kind of a tough situation.
I want a realistic Man-Bat. That would just be nightmare fuel on the shelf. A realistic Man-Bat.
Oh, God.
That'd be nightmare fuel on your wallet. Imagine, to make that thing look realistic, dude. Yeah. Just get a taxidermy bat, dude.
I don't need a man bat. Yeah, that's
put some pads on him.
Too new school for me. It's like I just need the classics. Just need the classic villains. That's all I need. I don't need no man bat or whatever. I don't know.
That's fair. That's fair. Doguido says this animated list is a little misleading. It's a mixture of animated series and new adventures. Seems like Yost is focused mostly on the animated series, which is, of course, the first 2 seasons of Batman the Animated Series, which is certainly by far my favorite. I agree. When they started going into new adventures, I actually really disliked the color palette that they chose. They went with they made it essentially easier to produce on screen, right? Because they were originally drawing these on black paper, and so they were super colorful, but they took a lot of work. So they reduced color palettes to make the animation easier to produce for new adventures, and it took a lot of the life out of the characters for me, if I'm being honest. So I agree with you. Not all of these are 100% Batman animated series, but I just wanted to give more of a representation of what bodies look like in animated form. It's kind of the point of the slide.
Well, it's just Alfred and Commissioner Gordon that are from the
That's true.
newer stuff.
Yep.
Commissioner Gordon definitely needs to be bigger and broader because he was kind
more
of
broad. He's like
he was a lot more frail when they redid him. Yeah.
Definitely. Same with Alfred there. Yeah. Yeah, interesting. No, and good thoughts there, Robert, for sure. I'm with you on that one, buddy. Jose, any final thoughts here on Batman animated series before we do our next giveaway, our next Ducks race?
Just quickly, I'm actually not a animated figure collector. I've never bought like the comic inspired or animated characters ever, but this one's one where I've been really tempted, and I'm like, can I buy just one and not go for these other characters? Maybe just one on the shelf or one on the desk that's just strictly just to kind of show the love for this series that I have. Like, could I be okay with one of them? And I've been kind of debating on it over this weekend, but I've been looking at it. I've been scrolling on Kit's site. I've been looking at that signature edition. I think I would go animated body personally, but I don't know. I'm torn, and I got to figure out the Penguin. So I know we're going to talk about this now. So I got to figure that out too.
Okay. My immediate thought when you said you're not as much of a Batman animated series fan, Jose, because you're up there in my book most of the time.
Oh no.
But
you either die a hero or you live long enough to see yourself become the villain.
No, I meant like in terms of collecting like animated characters.
That's good. I'm just teasing you, buddy. Of course, I get it. I get it. No worries. You're still invited back. You're still invited back. No, all good. Yeah. He's like, joke's on you. This is my last show, baby. All right. Let's put on the next duck race here. Channel members, unite, of course. Let's get this screen off the screen here. Here we go. My computer's being a little slow right now. If I'm choppy today, guys, I apologize. I think maybe I just have too many windows. But let's pull up the duck race here. So we had Figure in a Bubble win the first $25 gift card. This duck race is for the next $25 gift card. On your mark, get set.
Do they have the chance to win again, or did you pull Figure in a Bubble?
No, is this frozen? Did it freeze? Are we frozen?
No, it's just going really slow.
Yeah.
Running really slow.
Yeah,
I don't know
really
what's going on. What the hell? I hate to see it. It's like,
oh
God,
goodness!
It's so anticlimactic. Okay, 1 second, guys. 1 second.
Okay.
Oh, there it goes.
There it is. There it is.
Okay.
Okay.
God, for 30 seconds there, it was just like you hate to see it. Oh, it's frozen again. Oh, anticlimactic. I don't know what's going on. Can you guys still hear me? Okay, and everything.
Everyone else is good. The ducks are ducking weird.
Ducks just hate life right now. 16 seconds. Horrible duck race. I apologize, guys. I apologize. There it goes. There it goes.
There you go, Valkyrie.
Oh, shit.
Oh, someone's coming up.
Oh, the movie cannon.
Geo.
Oh, dang.
Love to see it. All right, let's close this window because I think that's totally messing up our internet here. You'll love to see it. Geo, reach out to me on Instagram, Facebook, buddy. We will get you your $25 gift card. Congratulations. Thank you for being channel members to everybody. The 30 to 40 folks that are channel members. Really appreciate it. If you guys want to become channel members, you can scan the QR code up on your screen. It's probably the easiest way unless you're watching it on your phone. And then, of course, you can find it through YouTube there. So, guys, thank you for being channel members so consistently. Let's move on to our final 2 topics of the day. And, of course, that's going to be Penguin. And we're going to talk about the tumblers as well. I put up the poll here earlier. Let's see. Did I close the poll? Did I close the poll? Sorry guys, give me 1 sec. Let's talk about Penguin here and then I'll see if I can find that poll. There's a couple different versions, of course. And I think the thing for me was I definitely know that I want a penguin in my display. Like, I definitely know I want one. But which one do I actually need? Because all three, or well, technically two representations that you can get, both the mayor penguin and the sewer penguin, look really good. Then they, of course, both have DX versions. And then, of course, there's also like a 2-pack version. And so I'm really conflicted because when I'm looking through here, I'm looking at the price points, right? The deluxe version or the DX version coming in, I should say the 2-pack coming in at just under $1,200. Now, it comes with a lot, and we all know that it also comes with the penguins as well. Sounds like you'll get a couple $100 worth of savings if you're going in on the 2-pack. You can get the DX version of the mayor penguin, which comes with this cool like mic stand and everything there as well, at $479. So again, that's that kind of $500 price point. People are saying, "Oh, it's out of my budget. I don't want to pay that." But then you can technically get the $299 penguin if you want. It's just a standalone penguin. And so to you, Pete, like I know you were mentioning there that like for the Wonder Womans, if they're all going to come out at about $500, that's a little bit out of the price range. Would the $299 work for you? Something to think about there in a couple minutes. And then of course the DX version of the sewer version, at $500 again. And then of course the $299 singular version there as well. And so lots of different options. For me, of these penguins, I think my favorite at this point is actually the sewer penguin, the sewer DX. I think that's the one that I want to go with. I really like the look. Part of my calculus there is that I'm already got the Batman Returns Batman coming from Hot Toys, and I can compose him up with the ripped off cowl next to the battle damage Catwoman that I have from Yoast. So I'm thinking having that basically kind of that final scene where everybody's a little bit messed up, and it's just kind of that representation of that final scene of Batman Returns. So I think I'm going to go sewer version. And yes, different prices on Spec Fiction as well. Some of us won't be able to order directly from Jazzinc. I'm looking at getting mine through 1/6 Kit, which is the other distributor at this point. So while I pull up the what's it called, poll that I put up there, Press X, what was the one that stood out to you the most? Which one do you feel like you need, or is it any? Are you skipping on Penguin here? What are your thoughts, buddy?
Oh, I would never skip on the Penguin. I love Batman Returns. And I actually pre-ordered the DX Mayor version and a set of the Penguin Commandos. So,
nice.
Yeah, I'm like, I want the Mayor version, but I want the DX Mayor version because I want the black coat and the gray coat and the monocle and all the stuff that comes with the Mayor version. And I wanted the 3 penguins as well. And I think I'm good because I have the Eternal Toys, version, and because the Mayor DX comes with 2 head sculpts, I may try to put one of those head sculpts on the Eternal Toys and make that my sewer version. But at the end of the day, if we're talking price, $299 on Jazzinc or $380 if you're looking at spec. $380 is still cheaper. Let's compare this to like an artisan figure. This $380 is still cheaper than the Obi-Wan Kenobi was over at Sideshow, which was $420.
Mm-hmm.
So $380 for what is technically an artisan figure, if you want to think about it that way. Now, if you want to go all in, and we're talking about a DX 2-pack, which comes with 2 dioramas, which comes with multiple head sculpts, which comes with 3 penguins, and it's 2 figures with multiple looks coming in at under $1,200 on the Jazzinc site, then yeah, that's the all-in, that's the full meal right there. But if you just wanted a Danny DeVito, like a really great Danny DeVito looking penguin on your shelf that's licensed, you could get one for under $400.
Yeah, that's exactly how I was feeling, buddy. 100%. I think the price point for the singular pack, like the non-DX, is still a relatively accessible price point. I feel like it's very much in line with what we see from Hot Toys and InArt, kind of somewhere in between. And I definitely think the quality is going to be just as good, if not potentially better. Maybe push on those guys a little bit for what we expect out of our figures going forward. Like this sewer version of Danny DeVito looks insane. 2 Droids 1 Pod says maybe wishful thinking, but my thought process is on possibly getting sewer version is the fact that Hot Toys, if they ever drop a penguin, would probably be the clean version only. I could see that, but I mean, you never know. They could, the days of Hot Toys 2-pack seem like they're gone, but you never know. We could get a 2-pack version too from them still, right? Like No, it's hard to say. It's definitely hard to say. I think at the end of the day, if you really like either version, go with the one that you're gonna like the most. I don't think I need two in my display though. That seems a little on the excessive side. Jose, what are your thoughts on like the 2-pack, the pricing of the 2-pack, or just the general pricing of these figures so far from what we're seeing versus the quality? What are your thoughts?
Expensive for sure. But I agree with a lot of the points you've been making in regards to, I do think there is value here with both the 2-pack and the DX options. Now you can go with more of a bargain general release one, right? Which is the one that's just the standard release, which was what was it, 300 or 380 on spec or kit. Yeah. So yeah, so you could go with that option, and I don't think. I mean, you are going to miss a few of the accessories, as you're going to miss some of the diorama pieces, but you could still get a penguin in your collection. Which again, other than that third party, the Eternal Toys version, you can't really find another version, and you can't find a licensed version everywhere. This is what we have, and I'm looking at this, and I'm like, I don't really know how much better Hot Toys could make it. I mean, they could do an artisan version, so on and so forth, but like, to me, it's like, how much would it be vastly better than what we're seeing here? And I don't think so. I mean, maybe some minimal differences, maybe, but I don't see how they could improve on it that much. I don't think there'd be a huge jump personally. So I think that there's options for you. I think people just read into like, oh, it's going to cost this much, and then it's going to be, you can't order it from them directly, and they kind of start thinking about it negatively that way. And obviously, Jazzinc, they haven't released a full figure yet. There is the third party scavenger, right, that they did before, but there haven't been an official figure that they can see and say, look, this is what we can present, this is what we can do. And that kind of gives a little, like, I can understand the perspective of the collector to be like, I don't want to fully invest just yet because I haven't seen anything yet in hand. So I think that once the Catwoman releases and people see how good that's going to be, because I personally think that they, like you said, like, they can't afford to miss. And I think they're going to do everything they possibly can to do the best Catwoman they can and release it to the best potential that they can, releasing, match it as much as closely as possible to the prototype. So I personally think that it's going to look really, really good. And at that point, we're going to have people being like, oh man, I should have ordered that penguin. I should have ordered that, so on and so forth.
That's the issue I'm having, is the fear of missing out, because I think both versions are really cool. I think my gut check leans me towards the sewer version, because I think on the shelf it's going to be like a holy crap, is that a crazy looking figure, you know what I mean, just like really pull me in. And again, to go with the other battle damage characters that I've already got coming. But I also see the appeal of the mayor outfit, and it's going to piss me off if one ends up looking better in a display, like once I see collectors actually get them in hand, you know what I mean? But I don't think I need two. I don't think I need a 2-pack. Like, that seems freaking excessive. I don't know. I don't think I need two. I gotta talk myself out of that. Really quick shout out before I go to you, Robert. We got a new channel member, Mr. Ron E. Love to see it, buddy. Thank you so much for becoming a channel member. Welcome to the Tough Nut crew, good sir. We will make sure you get added to our next giveaway. We're going to be doing another 6-scale figure giveaway here in the coming months, so stay tuned for that. We're also going to get your name added to our end credits of the show here, as well as all of our membership slides. So for you, good sir, this is for you.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Oh, thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, good sir. Definitely appreciate you being here. And once again, welcome to the Tough Nut crew. Mr. Robert, feel the burn. Were you feeling the burn this week when you heard about all these penguins and all the options? What was your choice, buddy? What are you looking at? Or is it none? Are you able to save your money and skip on all of these? What are your thoughts?
I have my money tied up in other companies too. It's just not funny. Mm-hmm. But this, when I heard about this, I was just like, okay, they already got the animated Batman, they got the Penguin, and now the Tumbler. It's like, oh my God, people, stop it. Stop hitting me. I don't want, this is too much, But I mean, like, I personally, I would go with the mayor version. I'm going to get the deluxe, but I think it's shady how they're going to hide, like, oh, you can get the deluxe. It's the only one that you can get with the monocle and the cigarette holder, because you need those things, because that's Penguin. That's who he is. Yeah. That's what he's like. And I mean, sure, I could get the standard, but it's just, I need the full look. I need the full look to him. And I mean, sure, the diorama, I mean, you know, the podium and all that stuff is great. But am I really going to need it? No, probably not.
Yeah.
I mean, it just, I already got the 2-pack of the Catwoman. I'm not falling for that trap again. No, that's just too much right there. Yeah, it just, my money is, I'm just so broke right now. It's just so not funny.
Yeah.
But yeah, this is, I kind of like you, Ben. I kind of want the sewer version, but like others said, there's the Eternal Toys one. So if I really wanted to go back and get it, I can get it. And then if I want to make like alterations and stuff, I have like friends who are like painters and, you know, customizers and stuff like that. So I can just like send it to them and be like, hey, dirty this up a little bit more, or, you know, whatever. And I'm sure it'll be a lot cheaper than having to get a 2-pack, you know, of this. So yeah. But yeah, I'm very excited to get this. It's just, my wallet's screaming at me. Ugh, so.
Your monocle point nailed red in the ledger says, "Oh damn, you're right. I need the monocle crap. Now I need the GX Mayor."
See?
God damn, we are enablers. You hate to see. Absolutely.
It's a shame how they did that. Just put it in with the regular. I mean, really, the deluxe is the podium and the poster in the back and the little diorama. Like,
but shouldn't necessarily be the accessories that make the character is kind of what you're saying.
Right, exactly.
Yeah, I totally agree. That's a good point. That's a really good point. Pete, what were your thoughts here, buddy? Because I think you've said in the past that you kind of wanted to wait to potentially see how Catwoman turned out. Has your perspective changed on that a little bit? I know you subscribe to kind of what I was saying earlier, which is they probably can afford to fail, but there is still some risk associated with this. And these are high dollar amounts.
Yeah, again, I think it's very much like for me with InArt as well. I needed to see what that Joker came out like before and luckily I was able to do that before I ordered Aragorn and stuff like that. For me, it's funny because I did vote in the poll and I was one of only 2 people that went with sewer. I know there's a couple of people that went with the 2-pack. I think for me, that would be the kind of part of the movie that I'd want to represent, would be kind of near the end, where he's down in his kind of, you know, his natural habitat, if you like. I would, if I went in, I'd have to get the penguins, and obviously that's the version that they go with. They don't go with the mayor version. Annoying that there isn't a kind of a version of the sewer one that comes with the penguins, unless you get the 2-pack and then you get everything. You know, because that might made it a little bit cheaper. So I don't know. I'd love to. I think I'd be happy with the basic sewer and the penguins, and sort of that would work out about £420 from kit. And kind of when I think about it, that's probably not too bad, kind of considering where we are in the market at the moment.
I got a question for you, Pete. Couldn't you order directly from Jazz, or is it still more convenient and cheaper to order with kit?
Yeah, I can, but obviously because we're not in the EU anymore, we're subject to the VAT, tax
VAT
and stuff, and obviously then you got shipping. So I haven't actually worked it out compared to kit, but I mean I'm all in on kit. I've been using kit exclusively for years now, and I just can't fault the service. And I you know, I like the fact that it's all up front. You know, there's no ifs and buts, and obviously I've been very lucky, fingers crossed, that I've never ever had a you know, import VAT charge on stuff from kit. 'Cause obviously that would make it quite a bit more expensive. You know, you'd be looking at more like £600 if I got caught for that. I'd rather run the risk. So obviously Jazzinc on paper would be a lot more expensive because I would be paying that VAT up front, which is 20% of the price of shipping and the product. So I would go with kit, and yeah, I don't know. I didn't go for Catwoman. I've got the Batman Returns 2.0 on pre-order from Hot Toys. Yeah, I don't know. I'll have to think about it. I'm kind of 50-50. I would like to, I say I could go with the basic sewer and the penguins. I don't need the other umbrellas and bits and pieces. Not really. I wouldn't use the dying head sculpt for him. So I don't know. I think based on these protos, obviously it all looks fantastic. It's that thing about we don't know. We know with Hot Toys that we expect a drop off with the sculpts in terms of the sort of the sharpness of the sculpts as well as the paintwork. If they can deliver on the protos, then yes. But obviously, it'd be interesting to see when Catwoman releases what sort of drop off we're looking at, because obviously they're not all going to be painted to this standard. Yeah.
Yeah, the production will be.
I really like. I think what I see is fantastic. And again, if I was purely like DC stuff like that, and I didn't have a massive Star Wars addiction, then I'd be all in on these, But obviously, for me, it's kind of fourth or fifth on the ladder of importance. So I may well be that I skip this. For anyone that's got him, what are your views on the Eternal Toys one? Is it that much of a huge upgrade? This, or if I was a sort of a not too bothered, would that be something that would be worth me picking up instead of this?
I mean, from everything I've seen in terms of photos, I think it looked still pretty decent for what it was.
Yeah, I thought it did.
Honestly. I think if you're not a Penguin super fan, I think you can 100% futz it into your display and it'll look great. Right? So, again, I mean, like I've got a third-party Agent Smith behind me taking a shot at Neo in his iconic like bullet time pose. And that figure objectively up close is terrible. But at a distance, it's to me, it's like 100% Agent Smith taking a shot at Neo, and it just does the job, right? And like I think if Penguin is that kind of character for you, where it sets the scene but doesn't necessarily need to be your centerpiece, then I could see Eternal Toys being totally.
Yeah, I might have to look into that actually.
I could see that for sure. Tim Harvey mentioning here, complaining about the price of Penguin, but then buying into animated Batmobiles as a head scratcher for sure. But hey, brother, it's your money. I mean, I can see your point. I think it's interesting. I think 1/6 scale vehicle collectors and 1/6 scale figure collectors both run on the same road parallel, but also are different markets as well. I think there are people who are simply vehicle collectors because that's what they're after, and there are people who are figure collectors. I can see the justification in some people rathering to spend their money on a vehicle because that to them is a representation of that film or TV picture or whatever that they like most. Whereas these figures can still feel very expensive, especially if Penguin's not your guy, kind of like we were saying with the Eternal Toys there. If you just want a representation of them, but it doesn't have to be perfect, there are cheaper solutions. Whereas the vehicles, like Jazzinc's vehicles, they're meant to be very premium versions of those cars, right, in our displays. And so I think sometimes our collectors, we run kind of in tandem. Like I know 12-inch Moose Dream is a great example of that. Huge figure collector, huge vehicle collector. But there are definitely those divergent groups as well who collect either or. So I can see the justification of still saying, man, this seems freaking expensive, but I'd be willing to spend money on a vehicle or vice versa, for sure. The results of the poll, by the way, it was up here. Give me 1 second. Did I lose it? There it is. Mayor came in at 67% of the vote. A 2-pack came in at 17% of the vote, so with the second highest vote count. The sewer came in at 11%, and one of the DXs came in at 2%. So it sounds like they're either, folks are either going to go with one of the single packs with not all the extra doodads, or the 2-pack and go literally all in. But it does sound like the mayor option is kind of the standout for people. So, justifiably so. I think it is one of the more iconic looks for him, especially within the film. You mentioned the dying head sculpt, Pete. I'm like, he is kind of his dying head sculpt. You're right. That's a bit of a gross scene. Dave, certainly last but not least, my friend here, any final thoughts on Penguin before we move on to the Tumbler and then wrap today?
You hit on something that was very interesting, and I want to applaud the collector that can say good enough is good enough, because that offshoot Penguin is fucking disgusting to me. Like
You don't like
it
it?
is,
Okay.
and not in the cool way like this one, right? Like it's ugly, and I don't like it. Like I wish I could say that's good enough. I wish representation was enough for me, but it's not. I want the good shit.
Yeah.
I want the good shit, and like this is the good shit right here. And looking at like it's such a boner killer when you look at kits prices on this. I know it's including the tariffs, which I get, but man, $386 right for the basic Mayor Penguin, but then it's $600 for the DX, and I'm like, bro. And like for me, I'm kind of in the same position as Robert is, because I'm thinking, well, of all those accessories, I just want the monocle and the cigarette and the black overcoat. And that's really what I care about for those accessories. And I'm like, is it worth like $214 extra to have those? And then you're thinking about, well, they're also doing all the ladies coming up that I've been wanting for a while. Like, do I just get the basic Penguin and funnel the rest of that, DX cost into Linda Carter? Like I feel like it's the '89 Batmobile all over again for me, because I couldn't be happy with the Hot Toys Batmobile. I couldn't. Some people can, and that's great for them. But there's a better one out there, and I would hate my life if I got the tinier, less accurate, not even really actually, just like, molded black plastic, not really painted Batmobile, and said, that's good enough. It's close enough for government work. No. I don't want the government cheese of Batman. I want the Gouda. I want the good shit. So I may end up having to get this DX for this Mayor Penguin. I don't want the Sewer Penguin. That he's on a whole other trip, man. But like, but I want that Mayor Penguin though. I want to have him, and I want to have Catwoman, and I want to have the upcoming Batman Returns figure. I want to have him in that alleyway scene where they all meet together for the first time. That was so cool. That was so friggin' cool. And like, I gotta have him with that angry head sculpt too. Like, you cannot have that.
Yeah.
Because watch. Someone's gonna get the basic Mayor Penguin, right? And then some jackass, some beautiful, awful jackass, is gonna go and make the little toy Batmobile that he's riding in his trailer. And I want that too. And I'm gonna get that, and I'm gonna be sitting here with just a smiling sculpt because I don't have the angry one, and I'm gonna be like, well, fuck me. So
that escalated quickly. I mean, that really got out of hand fast.
It jumped up a notch.
It did, didn't it?
so yeah, long story less long. I'm gonna have to get the DX Mayor Penguin. I'm gonna have to do it. I have to. I can't not. And it's gonna suck, but it's gonna be good.
See, that was the same. That was the same rationale I used. I didn't quite go that far with it, but that was the same rationale I used when I was just trying to determine whether or not I get the all-in 2-pack or whether I go with. And at the end of the day, I went with the Mayor Deluxe because I'm like, well, I want those options. These are the options I want. This is the look I want, and this is what I can currently budget for, knowing that all this other goodness is coming my way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
See, I don't buy like a lot. I don't buy any Star Wars or hardly any Marvel stuff unless it's like comic book version. So for me, I can kind of afford like the higher end stuff because I'm like Dave. I'm all about accuracy. Accuracy is important to me. So when I see Hot Toys trying to do, their own version of this, and this, and somebody comes along and does a better version, I'm just like, why even put, Hot Toys, why even put this out when you can't even get your likeness is right, man? See, I'm just all about accuracy for me, and there are people who are the same way. So, I mean, it really all depends on what you can live with and if it's okay with you. So, yeah.
We're gonna need a boner killer sticker made for the also 600 for this hell no sticker. Yeah, there's a couple. There's a couple in there. What are you gonna say, Jose?
No, I was just gonna. I'm not sure if you guys touched on it. My headset died, and I couldn't hear anything that you guys were saying. But how did you guys discuss the whole fact that it's like a 35% NRD with this penguin and with the animated Batman?
Yeah, we did, and that was pissing people off too. And it is a big chunk of money. That is a big chunk of money. But I also think of them more a little bit like I think of Jazzinc a little bit more of kind of on the startup side, right? Like more of like the HasLab kind of thing. Like they need people to buy in to know that they're actually putting their money where the product is and their time is. They can't afford to just sit on all of this product if people say they want it and then don't go in on it. So like I don't want to make excuses for it because I don't want to pay that kind of NRD myself. But there's more reason for it in my mind's eye for Jazzinc to ask for it a little higher than something like a Hot Toys.
The thing is that on their website the NRD is $75, right? But with kit or with spec they're asking like 35% of the value of the figure. So to me, it's like, are they adding on the shipping? Are they adding off like a cushion for tariffs and any potential cancellations? So it's like, because at that point, I'm like, if I'm ordering the DX Mayor or the DX Sewer and I'm paying $220 NRD, I'm like, I'm not gonna want to cancel that. You know what I mean? Like at that point, I'm like, I'm not losing. You know, it's basically what you lost for that J&D Joker, right? It's like $200 something dollars. It's like, who wants to lose that amount of who wants to lose that amount of money? Like you'll lose $50. So you'll lose maybe $100 for if you ordered a vehicle and then you can't buy it because you can't swing the $1,500 it's going to cost for the Batmobile. So you say, okay, I'll lose $100. But $220, or even if you order the 2-pack, it's $500 and something dollars that it costs to order that 2-pack NRD. So it's like, are you gonna really want to lose $500? You might as well just buy it and then try to sell it at that point. You know?
Yeah,
so,
literally. Yeah. Well, and it was a deterrent for pre-ordering for me too, actually, because I put them all in my basket the other day, everything that I wanted, and then was like, okay, nope, I'm gonna take these ones out for maybe a couple days. Maybe I'll buy this one in a week. You know, because I was like, holy crap, those NRDs added up real quick.
Yeah, it's the reason I haven't pre-ordered anything. You know, if it was $75 and $75 or whatever is on Kit's site, I would have ordered the Penguin. I would have ordered the Batman the Animated Series. I mean, I would have ordered those already. But because it's $200 and the Batman one is like $180 or whatever it was, it's like, whoa! I'm like, I'm talking about $400 on one weekend. I'm like, I can't do that. You know what I mean? So it's like, it was incredibly frustrating. But it's like, I feel personally, I'm like, well, they're doing it for a specific reason, as you were mentioning, right? Kit and Spec, they're doing it because they're trying to protect themselves. You know, they want to make sure that they reduce cancellations. But in the long run, if you think about it from the Jazzinc side, it's like, well, they're probably going to see really low numbers because people are like, well, I'm going to wait because I can't afford to swing that NRD right now. So now their numbers are going to be relatively low. Right. So it's like, is there a medium? Is there something that they can do to kind of maybe help out? Because it's like at this point, it's just like their numbers are going to be low. I'm expecting them to say that their numbers and their returns, it's going to be low on these items. That's what I personally think.
And it's just like the Catwoman. The Catwoman is still up on Kit. So, I mean, they say they have a cutoff date, but there's still products that they have that are still up on there. So
yeah, there's always cutoff dates. It doesn't matter.
But so I'm hoping that they'll keep the pre-orders up on this if people can't pay by the deadline. So I'm sure that's what they're going to do is just keep this up. And, you know, I hope so.
Very true.
That's how the Batmobiles have been.
Yeah, that's true. Exactly.
Yeah.
They left it up until they went. Blair Dad Life with his comment of 15 months of channel membership. Dude, thank you so much for being a channel member that long. I can't believe that's already 15 months. That's crazy. It says a 112th Batwing from Jazz. May have to jump in. Yeah, dude, that was part of the news I didn't even add because it's mostly 6 scale news that we do here, but I think he was saying kind of in that $300 price
excited
point
for
for a
that.
112.
That'd be so cool.
For a 112 version.
Between
I'm
3 and
I-
3.
That would be
I
cool.
might go in on that.
Yeah.
Even I might go in on that because like that's something you could use as like a wall display, right? That's when you could get
Yeah,
like
in the back.
a moon to put them up in front of, and it still not be like an entire wall like the 6-scale version representation is.
Just
I've
mount
seen some
it
people-
somewhere.
Dude, that fucker is the size of my bed.
Dude, it's insane. I've seen some people with it's their whole bedroom wall, like for one view. That's wild. So yeah, the 112th version, that might be one even I think about. I'll be honest. So let's go into our last topic of the day. We can keep this pretty short because I know not everybody's necessarily a vehicle collector, and I do have a special announcement from Jose Plus or the 1/6 Fix channel that I want to quickly mention. But of course, Jazz also teased 3 different versions of the tumbler. Of course, 2 different camo tumblers, one that has the cannon, one that does not, and then of course the standard look. I'll be honest, I've seen the Hot Toys one in person and I was very underwhelmed by it. Dave, you mentioned the plastic Hot Toys Keaton Batmobile. I had that for a little while and I sold it pretty quickly because I felt very much that like it's a nice representation, but it didn't feel like a premium vehicle. It felt very plasticky, and so does the Hot Toys tumbler to me. So I really love the tumbler though, and I'm like, man, like maybe, but the price point is still pretty freaking high, right? At least on Jazzinc's site right now, the tumblers are coming in at $13.99, likely higher, obviously on some of the other ones. $13.99, $13.49 for the camo tumbler without cannon. Sorry, so a little bit cheaper with the one without cannon, but that's expensive. And then, of course, if we have to buy through another party site like 1/6 Kit, then there's going to be a charge there as well as the Canadian converted dollar. So I'm looking at probably what's that?
Buy direct with these.
You can buy direct on this one.
vehicles
Okay.
Directly. Yeah.
Yeah.
So still,
And you can do like a
still it's probably
15-month
19.
payment plan.
Yeah, 15-month
$15
payment.
$2,000.
payment plan. You're paying like $86 a month.
Look at you, fucking enablers, man. Okay,
And it's $100 less than all the other
Batmobiles.
Batmobiles.
Boys, we're getting a tumbler.
It's $100
It's $100 less than all the other
talk
Batmobiles.
myself out of it.
Yeah, $100 NRD, and then you can do a 15-month payment plan of $86 or so for 15
That's
months.
awesome. Are you
And
so
get
who
Save
on the panel is?
Batman with early pre-orders.
Are you guys considering
And-
getting this tumbler then?
I'm thinking about it, and you get that sitting down Batman Begins Batman figure that will come with this if you order this. So if you're one of the
That's dope.
first to order this, it's going to
pretty
come
freaking
with
dope.
it, and it's included in
That's a
the
good
price. It's
perk.
not any additional thing.
That's a good perk, especially.
Now, here's the thing about that, though.
It's horrible to pose. So,
Because
What
like,
do you say, Dave?
say you get that seated Batman, right? Well, what is it? Because they're still debating, right, how they're gonna open this thing. Like, if they do like the top flap open, like how the one is that they scan does, is that how you're gonna want to have that with the Batman sitting in there, or would you rather it be the canopy opening like in the movie? Because I feel like that makes a difference. Because you're not going to see that figure in there unless it's open, right? And if it's opening from the top, well, good luck with that. If the canopy
included
opens
in the
up,
price. It's included in the price.
Yeah,
Who
man,
cares?
that's fair. That's fair. But like, but how big an incentive is that though? Like, if you're not ever going to fucking
It's
see it,
cool.
right?
I mean, you can open it, take pictures. I mean, you have it there. I mean,
Yeah,
it's better to
exactly.
have than not have, right? It's like, the accessories that you don't use every single accessory, right? Sometimes you keep them in the box, but it's good to have, right? So it's like an accessory,
Right. But my thing is, say you're taking pictures. Okay, do you want to take pictures of this big fucking can opener flap, or do you want to take pictures of the actual canopy like it did in the movie? That's my sticking point, right?
Well, the pictures would be like a close up of him sitting in the tumbler,
Yeah.
surrounded by all the screens.
Yeah.
Well, I
Yeah,
guess you're not
you
seeing
do-
the outside of it. Then okay, all right.
Yeah, exactly.
Otherwise, I see exactly what you're talking about. Where it's like if it's not the flower petal, then it's just like a look,
Yeah,
flap,
'cause that wouldn't look
chakra that
right.
opens up, which that would look kind of weird. Yes. So yeah, I see what you're saying. Yeah, absolutely.
That's fair.
Yeah, but if you want max
I
accuracy,
haven't felt that way
accuracy-
about max accuracy. I agree with you.
Yes,
Jose.
exactly.
I think that's the key because these are supposed to be max accuracy, right? That's the point. That's that Jazzinc's sticking point is they want it to be as realistic as humanly possible. I agree with you, Dave. If you can't see the Batman in there, it's not like a huge win. At the same time, if it just comes with the cost of the vehicle, then hell yeah.
Yeah.
Put him in the Batwing.
Cool. Yeah. Yeah, right. I mean, you could.
Wrong
technically,
Batman.
Make a
But
little
okay.
Wrong Batman, but I
Nah,
mean,
fuck it.
still could be cool.
Put him in the Batwing.
Screw him. And I mean, like, because like they were also doing the sitting down one for the Keaton and Batmobile, right? But for the Keaton Batmobile, I would always want to keep that canopy closed as well. I think that's where the vehicle looks most badass. So
It works for the Batwing the best, and that's pretty much it because you can see him in the Batwing.
when he's vertical, yeah,
Yeah,
absolutely. So
yeah.
Jose, you're thinking about getting this one. Press X, were you
Thinking
considering
about
getting in on a tumbler?
Not a tumbler. I'm 66 to 97 in terms of Batman collecting, so tumbler is not in my wheelhouse.
Totally fair.
I'm about to say you are not 66.
I am 66.
Light don't crack, baby.
Oh, I hope not.
El Walker says $85 isn't bad. As collectors, we spend more than that a month in figures. That's my
There you
issue.
go, Ben.
Is that
There you go,
while
Ben.
no, see,
Yeah.
that's my issue though. While that breakdown is really appreciated, I've got 15 pre-orders right now. I've got 15 pre-orders. I've been getting like
Star
that. Not all Star Wars, lots of different things. But I will say like every month on about the 25th of the month, I have a lot of money just randomly coming out. And recently, I actually canceled my Joaquin Phoenix Artisan Joker, the Joaquin Phoenix one, because I was like, I've already spent $400 in that so far, Canadian, to get it in the door. It hasn't been announced yet, and I'm like, all these other figures that I want, what has to go now? What pre-order am I going to cancel to get my money back to now put those dollars towards something else? And so like, yeah, it's just $80, but if it was the only $85 that I was spending, different story. But when it's $85 on top of the other 15 pre-orders that are slowly siphoning the bank account, that's where it gets you, right? After a while, you go and you add it all up, you're like, holy crap, I'm in this hobby for $7,000 in 2025, and that's before anything else even gets announced. Like, it gets to the point where it is too much for a lot of us, and so you have to be super strategic, and you have to really truly freaking want these things really badly, or else it's just like, it's cool to have and then you sell it and you take some loss, right? Like I wanted that Batmobile, I got the Batmobile, I loved it for a couple of weeks, could not figure out how to display it, and moved it on and took a loss. But the next guy who got it was super happy, so congratulations to that collector.
I will say, as someone who purchased the Hot Toys Batmobile, owned it for a little bit, and then sold it to buy the Jazzinc one, there is a complete difference in terms of the premium the level of accuracy, of the feel, of presence, of everything. Like, I held the Hot Toys one, I looked at it and I was like, it just feels like a big thing of plastic. And look at this, like,
so nice.
like,
so good.
So beautiful.
Especially, where specifically you notice it, like, right off the bat, like the plastic tires on the Hot Toys one compared to the tires on the Jazzinc one, you notice that right away. It's just like, whoa, like, this actually feels authentic and real tires, and the other ones are just like plastic. Like, it just felt like a Walmart toy, you know what I mean, in that scale. Like, it's like, that's honestly like that's what it felt like. And it's just like, and holding the Jazzinc one, it's just on a whole other level. So it's like, if you think that about the tumbler, imagine what they're gonna put into this one. And that's why I'm like, you should consider it.
It's the closest you're gonna get to owning the tumbler. It really is. Unless you have like a ton of money, it's the closest you're gonna get to owning the actual tumbler.
Yeah.
Hell yeah. Absolutely. Guys, with that said, I want to respect everybody's time. We are at the 2 hour and 42 minute mark. I want to please shout out Jose Plus. This is the first time this poster has been seen by collectors. The next Shark Tank Meso Menos show coming up on June the 21st. The King Shark Tank Battle Royale here, let's be honest, is against Vita, her geeky side, versus her man, Jim the Collector, who looks a little bit like the guy from Jurassic Park, Alan Grant. You love to see it. So I'm definitely going to tune in for this one. I love those two. They are awesome folks, and that will be an interesting pitch battle to be sure. Do you have any other thoughts on that coming up there, Jose?
No, we were just really, really excited. Thank you so much for showing the graphic, Ben. I really appreciate that. And yeah, the show's coming up on the 21st of June. We're doing a little later start. Hopefully you guys can come by. We've done early shows lately. It's it's kind of like a special event stream where we do it once a month. So definitely come by, because you get to vote in the poll for the best pitch, and so that helps them out. So if you can swing by and cast your votes for the best pitch, that would be very much appreciated by either one of these individuals. And they do some really, really wonderful pitches. I know, Ben, you've experienced the being in the Shark Tank with what was it? Oh my
Against
god, I'm totally forgetting. Against Feezy. Yes, you went against Feezy, and you've been in there, you've experienced it, and it's a whole different experience. So I'm excited about this one, and if you haven't seen them, definitely catch the replays. They're all on the 166 channel. So there's 5 episodes. This is episode 6, so definitely check them out if you haven't. So it's a very fun segment that we do on that show. So thank you, Ben.
I'm calling it already. Vita's gonna win because she's clearly the fan favorite of the two here, but Jim's gonna bring his game. I know he will. So I'm excited to see the prep that's gonna go into this team. So well said, Jose. Thanks for bringing that to our attention. Thanks for showcasing your poster for the first time here on the show for the upcoming show. Make sure you guys go and subscribe to 166. Of course, most of us here already are pretty regular at this point. We all know who Marco is, but if you do not know, or you're watching on replay, 166 YouTube channel, Meso Menos, coming up on June the 21st. Press X to continue. You've been all over, mostly with Lyal and a couple other streams. Love seeing your face, man. And thank you so much for saving some of your hot takes for Let's Get Nuts today. I appreciate it. Anything coming up for you, good sir, that you're excited about?
Oh my goodness, what is coming up? You're right. I'm all over the internet. I get around.
Village bicycle, really, in a good way.
Right?
Yeah.
Oh, it's gonna live forever on the internet. Love it. Thank you so much for having me. It's been a big Batman week, and the thing I love after Star Wars Jurassic Park is Batman, and so I am happy as a clam right now. Wednesday is Say What, and then on Thursdays usually will find me on Best of the Best, and then there's also Uncivilized Scoundrels on Thursday as well, after Best of the Best, where we talk some Star Wars. This week we're talking about Rogue One. Now that we've watched Andor season 2, we're going to go back and give our thoughts on how that impacts Rogue One. So it's a good time. Thanks so much for having me. It's great to be on here with all y'all and everyone here in the chat. Just talking plastic.
Talking plastic. Love to see it, buddy. Thank you for being back as always. Appreciated. Welcome anytime.
Thank you.
And as I said, enjoy seeing you on all the other shows there as well. So keep up the great work, man. Feel to burn, Mr. Robert. Thanks for being here, buddy. Thanks for putting your hand up today to be here with us as always. Anything coming up for you, good sir, that in life or in collecting or anything that you're excited for?
Not much as far as collecting. I actually do have a figure coming. I just paid from 16 Kid. It's a horror figure. I posted up on my story. It's The Ring. It's the Japanese version, not the American version. I mean, although I would like an American version, but I don't think it's really that much of a difference. As far as streaming, you can usually find me on the Movie Canon, but I don't think he's doing a stream this week, and I don't think he's doing a stream next week. Although I will be on a fellow Robert, Brick Artemis's channel on Saturday to help celebrate his birthday coming up. So yeah. I will be on his stream then. And
Brick and I have the same birthday. I don't know if he told you this, but he and I are both June 1st babies. So my birthday is also on Sunday next week. So
well, happy early birthday, man.
Maybe I'll crash a stream with him too. So yeah, he's better looking than me though. He's a handsome guy, that Brick Artemis. But no, dude, Robert, absolutely. Thanks for being here. Yeah, Jose agrees. Thanks for being here, Robert. As always, buddy, I appreciate you, man. Welcome anytime, of course, anytime. Mr. Pete, I know it's getting late there for you, buddy. Thank you so much for sticking around so late with us.
It's been great fun.
The lights are slowly closing it down. Thanks for always being such a lovely panelist for so many years already, buddy. Anything coming up for you that you're excited for?
No, not really. I think my my streaming career is very erratic at the moment. So I just obviously OFAC is still going, but we're a little bit kind of Ian's a bit Ian's a bit difficult to motivate sometimes. He's like, oh, there's nothing to talk about. It's like, well, we need to do a show. We'll find stuff to talk about. We always find stuff to talk about. So hopefully we'll do. There'll definitely be an OFAC in June at some point, and you're likely to see me on Aaron Articulates on his live rants. We haven't done one of those for a while, so it's normally me me and Jim and Ian sometimes. So yeah, you'll see me around. And as I said earlier in the show, I normally do this show now when we've got a bank holiday. We haven't got another one till August, but maybe I'll try and I'll definitely get on a few in between now and then.
Sounds good, buddy. Sounds good. If anything, you know what you should do? You should just do some very generic, like, yeah, I kind of like this figure, I might get it, videos for me, and then I'll just clip you. And so whenever I want Pete's opinion and he's not here, I can just play Pete's clip.
Yeah.
We should do that. Yeah, we should figure that out. Yeah, I think Pete would say, yeah, I really like this. Yeah, it's not. This figure's shit. It's shit, Ben. Honestly, it's horrible.
Yeah.
So, yeah. I love you, buddy. Thanks for being here as always, man. Mr. Dave, X-Men Supreme, back in the house again. Anything coming up for you this week that we are excited for? And by the way, I learned something new about you today, Dave. I did not know you had kids. I learned that about you today.
Oh, yeah.
I was this year's old when I found this out. So, there you go.
Yeah, they're so old that they don't matter. But
okay. I hope they don't watch the stream.
How old are you? I thought we were like the same age.
I'm 45.
I mean, oh my God, you look great for 45. I thought
Thank
you.
you.
36, honestly.
No, the camera, it really does. It takes a few years away.
We're all the same age after about 35, I think, honestly.
Yeah. That's what it is. That's what I'll keep telling myself. How I sleep at night. After 35, it's all the same.
Yeah.
I'd say what my bladder's not the same as it was when it was 35.
That's why
I had to nip off earlier. Yeah.
That's a lie.
That's the healing factor.
Every day, more lies.
Oh, we're talking about. Oh yeah.
Anything coming up for you?
Not really. Okay, so a lot of y'all know that when Artisan Jack hit, I put mine up for adoption, and then I decided I didn't want to do that, and Ben was kind enough to help me out with his that he had gotten the wait list on, and then I ended up still keeping the one that I put up for adoption. He didn't leave, so now I have 2 Artisan Jack Sparrows. Guys, I don't need 2 Artisan Jack Sparrows. So if anybody is looking for one, if somebody missed out, before I put them on the BSTs, hit me up. I will let you have him for what I paid plus shipping, because I'm not going to eat that. But let me know, and you've got a Artisan Jack Sparrow in the mail.
Hell yeah!
Because I gotta buy Lindy Carter.
Not gonna buy Linda Carter. Well said. Give a special shout out to our Tough Nut crew, Dave. By the way, thanks for being here, man. As always, I love you, buddy. Appreciate you being here. The Tough Nut crew, of course. We have a new channel member as well, and we will shout you out. We will add your name to the slide, good sir. But we got Alvin J collecting weekly money, Mendez, 1 Adam 12, 6 scale Mafia, 6-figure Focus, X-Men Supreme, King Dingaling, Sith Scale Collector, 12-inch Moose Stream, The Batman, The Movie Canon, Parks Industries, SpongeBob Square Balls, Honest Hansel, Peter Cass, Harry Dempsey, Ryan Smith, Collector Joey, Sam Gist, Rachel Miller, Jose G. Hernandez, Figure in a Bubble, Collection Obsession, Blur Dad Life, Don Matan, Alex Serrato, Pop Culture Relics, Daniel S.C., Figurecraft, Trevor Weed, Big Rib, as Dean would say, Big Dog Pound 1 with a woo! We got the Real Tex Conway, Monroe Corbeil, Valkyrie Magnus, Brick Artemis, OG Fan, when Star Wars was just Star Wars, Tijuana Mike, aka King Churro, Saphir Cosplay, Aaron Broverman, and of course, we've got Ron E. now in the chat with us. And of course, our channel member winners today were Figure in a Bubble and Geo, the movie canon. So congratulations to those 2 guys for winning the giveaways as well. Guys, with all of that said, to respect our time, let's get the heck out of here today. Pete, I would say we got nuts. Once again, good sir. Thanks for watching, everybody.
Wow, what a great audience. Be sure to subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. Subscribe and makes you feel good. What should I go? What should I do?
Frankly, my dear, I don't give a damn. It's gone. It's all gone.